All right, all right. Welcome to my show. This is GameChanger 00100 show. I'm your host, GameChanger. All right. So, yeah, I was on Edwards, and yeah, I decided not to wait much longer for it to end because who knows? And I want to get this done so I can watch Chantel Simone. So, yeah, salute to everybody on that. All right. So, there was a lot because the crowd was crowded. Excuse me, because the panel was crowded, and because Ed likes to talk. I really didn't get everything I wanted to. And trust me, I'm not shooting at Ed. He knows he likes to talk, but um, didn't really get much of anything that I wanted to say out. By the way, the link is for King Sigma and him alone. Maybe Xanatos Clutch if you want to come up. Didn't really get much of anything out, so I decided to create my own separate stream so I can get my shit off, so to speak. All right. I have my suspicions about Courtney Michelle when I was on the Xanatos Clutch video with her. And here's the thing, a lot of women view the community as a means to an end. I repeat, a lot of women view the black community as a means to an end, meaning that what can the community do for me? Because the community can be pillaged. Any community can be pillaged, meaning that its wealth can be taken and given to an individual. Give me your shit. Now that's what happened to the black community. You have the black community of old, the ones with the 50s and 60s where every black man wore a tie and a hat and stuff like that, even if he worked at the car wash, and every black woman wore a dress and stuff. So you have that particular black community, the civil rights community. And then you had the generation that came after that who took the civil rights, pillaged everything, including the good reputation of black people, took that for themselves and got everything that they can in the process of destroying the community. Now, what has happened subsequently was that following generations um, are saying, okay, there is no community for me to pillage from anymore. We have pillaged our reputation of decent men and our hardworking men and submissive, feminine, fit, friendly women. We have completely pillaged that reputation. Now, what they're asking is that we rebuild that for them and possibly give them the opportunity to pillage again. That is the vibe that I kind of suspected, and I'm going to show you where and why I suspected it before. So follow my logic for a moment, and then we'll get into it. Hold on. So this is from 1MT just a couple of days ago. All right, shout out to 1MT. Fair use to you, homie. All right.
So we're not protecting a culture, we're protecting the cultural anomalies within the culture. And the Obsidian example that you gave doesn't really, that's not a community to.
Here, let me go back a little bit.
What's that?
Ah, crap.
Classy with a little.
Yeah, with
Let's get the kids. Kid, you there?
1MT, can I do a quick rebuttal to what Courtney was saying?
Game changer. Oh, get a game changer.
We got to keep it moving, gang. Just hold tight, okay?
30 seconds. Okay.
Really quick. Go ahead,
Okay,
the kid.
really quick.
Go ahead.
The examples that you gave.
Let him go. Let him go.
Go ahead, gang.
The examples that you gave were not anomalies with Uncle Stu, So we're not protecting a culture, we're protecting the cultural anomalies within the culture. And the Obsidian example.
So basically, I'm gonna give you some context so I don't just rewind it all the way. Basically, she was saying that the black community is still worth protecting and the submissive women in it. And then she used um, an example of Uncle Stu, the old man on the block, the brother in the bottom right corner. And she also used the example of Obsidian as example of functioning black families that's worth protecting, even though they're not your own. You should protect them because they're part of a larger black community. Now, this is my response. Example that you gave doesn't really, that's not a community effort because they're not married, nor do they intend to get married or produce any children. So these are not community minded people that we're talking about here. You know, the community effort may be forsaken. That's all I want to say.
Well,
You talking about me, Game Changer, or Obsidian?
Obsidian, Obsidian is not
okay.
married and they don't plan to
well,
produce
what
children.
I'm saying is
Oh,
that
okay.
if married or not, if they're together and they're sharing expenses, and
And there we go. You see, here's what a community is. Well, a family is a group of units that are bound together by commonality. In some cases, blood, in other cases, love, and in other cases, necessity. But nevertheless, they are bound together in a family. It's a network of people. A community is a network of families, meaning you cannot have a community without families. That includes wife, husband, and kids. You have one of these units, and then it networks with another, and then another, and then another of these units. And that is how communities are made. That is what the community of old is. So, what I was saying was that Obsidian, being a lifelong bachelor, is not really an example of a community that we are should be working to build because that particular branch of the community ends with him and brown sugar. So that's all I'm saying. But what I got from her response, I'm gonna play it again. What I got from her response is that it's not really about black families. It's more about hold on.
economic.
They don't plan to
Well,
produce
what
children.
I'm saying is
Oh,
that
okay.
if
Hold on.
married or not, if they're together and they're sharing expenses and economically keeping the black dollar within the black family in the black community, that is progress.
That's not a family. And that's what my point is. It does seem as though the concern here, and trust me, this was my first, how can I say, hint that something may be a little different about the way that's thinking, about the overall motivation of what's going on. Because if you want a black people to start forming families and as a result forming communities, then you wouldn't use that as an example. You wouldn't use the case of two single people, a guy with a girlfriend, as an example of what you're trying to champion. Unless you're looking more towards the short term gain and selling the long term gain to others. You see, if you say like something like first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes baby carriage, and after baby carriage comes community. If you were to say that, then it's like, okay, but it seems like she wants to like first comes love. Okay, let's stop right there. Let's just stop right there. There really isn't any need for anything more than the first come love. I just want you all to seek love from us all and hope that from that love that you seek from us all, we will have a community. You see, community is a bait, and it has been a bait for black men for far too long. What do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. And I'm going to just put it out there. It's way too many dark skinned black Americans. There, I said it. There, I said it. Damn it. It's way too many dark skinned black Americans. What do I mean by that? I'm going to tell you what I mean. everybody else turned light skinned by now. Every foreign place with that was a slave holding place that didn't emancipate themselves, shout out to Haiti, that didn't emancipate themselves has turned light skinned. Brazil has turned light skinned. Colombia has turned light skinned. England, especially England, even though it has a new wave of African immigrants, England has turned light skinned. France has turned light skinned. The people who are the descendants of slaves in these places have turned light skinned. What do I mean by that? Why is that so significant? Because we are extremely loyal. Wesley Snipes come from a long line of loyal motherfuckers. Wesley Snipes, each and every single one of Wesley Snipes' ancestors, besides Wesley Snipes and himself, is loyal as fuck. We are extremely loyal to be this. If we weren't loyal, we would look like Brazilians right now. We are extremely loyal. My parents was loyal. My grandparents was loyal. Great grandparents was loyal, and that's why I am a handsome brown-skinned man. Why? Because we are loyal as fuck. And it's all because we as black men do care about the community. And if you don't believe me, everybody, listen, people who are not in the know are shocked. They are shocked. They like, you still here? You still dark? I work with Indians, right? By the nature of what I do. Work with Indians. Somebody said not loyal, limited. I'm going to get into that. I am going to get into that. Work with Indians, right? And one of them, and he was raised here. Actually, he was born and raised here. I think he went to Stanford or some shit like that. And he even listens to black music. And he watches basketball. And he knows more about both of these things than I do. And he says, so what tribe do your people come from? It's like, beg your pardon? So what tribe do your people come from? I was like, I don't know. I never took the test. It's like, what do you mean took the test? Like, I never took the test. I never took the, 23andMe or Ancestry.com. I never took that test, so I don't really know. He was like, no, but like, what about your parents, grandparents? I was like, do you think I'm an African immigrant? Or do you think I'm a first, second, or third generation African immigrant? He's like, oh, I thought that's where black people came from. What are you, Jamaican? I was like, no. My ancestry has been here, and we got here through the trans-American slave trade. And he was like, oh. I was like, and you do know that every black person that you know of and enjoy their athleticism or music, all of these people came here, their ancestors came here that way. Very few of us are African immigrants, like Barack Obama. And he was like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm thinking to myself, how could this nigga not know it? And he's super educated. And the way he don't know it is because, he's like, damn, you still here and you still black? You here and you look like your parents just got here like 20 years ago. Why? That's because of solidarity. Now, somebody said limited choices. That is bullshit. Listen, all of that hosing and posing and stuff like that, that is in the South. Listen, Frederick Douglass got out of that crap quick. Any one of those dudes could have came to California and set up roots here, okay? And not had to deal with no back of the bus or nothing like that, like my granddaddy did, okay? They could have been said, where the white women at? They could have been said, where the white women at? And you want to know what the answer would have been? California, okay? That is ridiculous that it's isolated. They were 90% of the population. The only way you can have 90% of any population deliberately stick with 10 is because of extreme loyalty. Okay, it is extreme loyalty. If I go to a nightclub with 100 women and then somebody said that I can only mess with these 10 women, then there has to be some extreme loyalty going on. Okay, we are extremely loyal, and the darker you are, the more loyal your people were. Okay, period. That is just how that goes. So, that's right. We are extremely conditioned to be with each other. We are conditioned to be with each other. And part of it was because we actually wanted to be with each other. Back in the Soul Train days, we actually wanted to be with each other. But now the Soul Train line consists of skinny men wheelbarrowing fat women down the line while she does the hokey pokey with her fingers. That is not what we are loyal to anymore. Okay? That loyalty has waned as it should be. So what we have now is people trying to rebuild the new loyalty. They are trying to rebuild the old loyalty. Like, I am going to reinitiate old loyalty to a new crop of people. Like, okay, what do you offer with this newfound loyalty? I have no problem being loyal to a worthy woman. I said it before and I say it again. If I join a fraternity and then somebody says, okay, the thing about this particular fraternity is that you can only sleep with the girls in this particular sorority. I have no problem doing that if those chicks just so happen to be bad as fuck or even average. But if it's a sorority full of undesirables, so to speak, then my loyalty goes out the window. Because where is your loyalty to my dick? Okay? Where is your loyalty to my dick? Motherfucker. I will patronize a black-owned business provided that there is reasonably good food and reasonable respect. But I'm not gonna suffer disrespect and bad food just for the sake of keeping it real or keeping the money in the community. Shut the fuck up. Take my ass to Cracker Barrel in the quickness before I go for some crap like that. But what do I know? King Sigma, what's on your mind, brother?
Hey, what's good, brother, man? Happy Tuesday, thirsty Thursday, thirsty
Jim
Tuesday.
Crow. All right, listen, fuck Jim Crow and fuck David Byrd, okay? If they wanted it bad enough, they would have SYSBM the South, okay? They would have SYSBM the South. They were so loyal that they stood in the fire hose line, okay? My people moved here back in the 40s.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. You know, they stood in Jim Crow. Jim Crow was not throughout the U.S., okay? It was not throughout the U.S.
Good point.
So these are people who didn't SYSBM with the bus marches and all that crap. These are the people. I would have left fucking the day after June 20th is when I would have been out that motherfucker. And Abraham Lincoln said that you niggas should leave, and he even suggested Brazil. I would have been gone. Man. I would have been gone. It would have been songs about me. Run, nigga, run. Would be the theme song. I would be the fuck out. But the ones who stayed for this stay and fight bullshit. And that's why they're in Mississippi now. Being in Mississippi is a fucking punishment for staying.
Mississippi is not the state that a brother really want to be in. That's where my people from. See, my folks, they came up to the Midwest in the late 60s, all throughout the Midwest, and they were actually recruited from the South by the big car manufacturers back in the 60s, 70s, and then it started to taper off in the 80s, and now it's all in Mexico. But, I mean, you make a good point when you talk about a lot of the black men back at that time. They had incentives to stay, not just because of Jim Crow, but because even after Jim Crow, a lot of them stayed. Because, again, they got pretty much everything they wanted was still within those areas. This idea that's been put out online about, black women were always fat. This is the biggest lie I've ever heard. First
It
off,
is, yeah.
there weren't no really fat women being taken as slaves when they first started bringing these blacks at that time into that chattel slavery condition.
Of
That
course
was
not.
something
It'll
that
weigh down
came
the
from
boats.
the whites put that on black women. So this idea that you had like a 300-pound woman out in the field for 15 hours picking cotton, get real. Get real. Eating a fucking a biscuit, day-old biscuits, week-old biscuits. No, these women were very fit, and black women, even up until like the early 80s, were very fit. So that we can look at the pictures. We can just go through the history of pictures of our generations of our mothers and our grandmothers and know that this whole mammy stereotype, that was a stereotype. That was a very specific woman who played a role on the plantation and within white families as a breeder, as a nanny to black kids and white kids. Because again, remember, the white slaveholders, they owned everybody. So that woman was breeding black children, mixed children, and then like nannying for the white children too, breastfeeding them. That's where she got so big, because she was forced to have all those kids because every kid gave her a little bit more freedom. So this idea of the mammy is a stereotype. Black women were never out of shape like that. It's the last two generations of black women that dropped the baton on the fitness. You can look at pictures. I mean, even as late as the 90s. Go look at, I say this all the time. Go look at the rap videos of the late 80s and the early 90s. Go look up Uncle Luke specifically.
Oh, no. I was there. What are you talking about? I was there. I seen it. And yes, y'all got fatter. I seen it. I was in the 90s. Yes, y'all got fatter and fake hairier. Okay. I remember back in my day, they used to take like a strip of ponytail, kind of like Roxanne or Roxanne Shante, and then they would put it in their hair, and other girls would call them out on that. And I remember, you remember that episode of, or you remember that movie, Coming to America, where they was talking about Soul Glow, and then
dude said, I remember Eddie Murphy, yeah,
exactly. And then dude said, our home weave kit is really taking off. That was a joke back in the day. Back in the day, that was a funny joke. Like the concept of a home weave kit was a funny joke. But
yeah, black women, even in the movie, when you look at that Coming to America, all those black women wearing their natural hair.
Exactly. So yes, y'all got worse, and we're sick of it. We are sick of it. And don't try to get us together for the community, because what you are trying to do is you're trying to get us to be loyal to the women you were. The women you were deserve loyalty.
But no one spends more.
The 90s deserved it.
Black men never left the community. Okay, so let's get that straight as well.
There's
a lot of propaganda out there these days about black men's role in the community. First thing is, black men never left the community. Even black men that were dating women that were not black never left the community. For example, Frederick Douglass. Mm-hmm. He was one of the black men you were speaking about earlier who had the opportunity. He was actually the one that Lincoln and the radical Republicans spoke to about sending blacks to South America, Latin America, Central America. He was the one that said, nope, we're not taking that deal, even though at the time he was banging a much younger white woman. But he said, nah, we've worked this land. We've invested in this country. We're staying here. Black men have always had a loyalty to the majority, the black majority, even when they had the option to leave. Remember, when they sent Frederick Douglass overseas, he was over in Ireland, London, Paris. He talked about how he was treated as an equal for the first time in his existence. And he didn't want to come back. But he came back because he felt like he still had work to do. Black men in 2022 pay, when you look at black men's income per man, we pay a higher tax rate and a higher percentage of taxes than any other group in America when you consider all the factors, what we make, how much we pay in taxes, and what we actually get out of the system when we pay our taxes. We get the least out of the American tax system than any other group. So as a group, no one is more taxed than black men. We build the most through our taxation and get the least out of it.
No, you're speaking facts. You know, like percent wise, we do spend a lot on tax. And I'm talking about the men here, because the men aren't the ones on welfare, so who would be a tax beneficiary. So yeah, the men, you know, definitely are contributing the most and getting the least in that regard, you know. But I mean, nevertheless, listen, ladies, and this is to the Courtney Michelle in her ilk, you know, her ilk. If you want us to stay, and if you want us to be silent about leaving, then be a better bitch. Because those are your two options. Be a better bitch or not. Because this whole community minded black men that, granted, it's made a lot of headway. It has made a lot of headway back in the day. That shit is over. And I'm not talking about because SYS and Passport Bros exist now. I'm talking about because times have changed, okay? And people and he hit me in the thing, ask the nuclear physicist. Ask the nuclear physicist. First of all, he probably don't know what SYSBM is, and nor should he. But ask him about loyalty. Ask him about loyalty. Loyalty to what? He got himself a half white, half Indian chick. He's like, wait, what's loyal? He's 27 years old. Like loyal who? Loyal what?
I got a good laugh off there when you share. I'm glad you shared that, man, because I remember when you were breaking that down before, and I hadn't really been in this space in a while. So when I saw you talking about him, and I saw the chick, and she asked him, "Is she black? Is she black?" And he didn't say nothing at first, right? He just kind of, he was giving his little spiel. And then he said that she was half white and half native. But he said what I've always been telling brothers, because living in the Midwest, I see things so differently, is that all the black men I know that are dating women that are not black, they date them because they're available and that they look good. They're available, they look good, and for some reason, they connect on a compatibility level. So when he actually broke that down to the women on the panel, I was laughing because this is what I've been saying for years, that most black men aren't going out in public and being like, I got to go find me a white girl or an Asian girl. No. Women can't understand things from the standpoint of men because it's so easy for them, right? They're the passive ones that men are throwing dick at them all day, right? So women don't understand what it is to be a man as far as like us having to go out there in the field and out into the sexual marketplace and convince a woman to open her legs for us. The work is so much harder for us in that regards to get sexual access. So they just don't understand that. So they think that a black dude just wakes up like, damn, I'm going to go give me some white pussy today. No. That brother went to Target. That brother went to work or whatever. And it just happened to be a white girl that wouldn't leave him alone. She's just throwing a pussy at him. She's flirting with him. She wants to get to know him. I'll take you out for a drink. And then he chooses her. That Asian woman or whatever, it happens like that. But the rhetoric is that these black men wake up and they just want to be with these women. And we know that's not true because your nuclear physicist guy, he actually went on there and he was flirting with the black woman. He got rejected and he went and got him a white native. So what do you say to that? See, that's what they don't understand. They think that black men are just going to sit around while they reject them and wait until they get done doing whatever they're doing out here while their biological clock is ticking and black men are going to wait around. That might have been true 3 generations ago, but it hasn't been true for the last 20 years. And it damn sure isn't true for the last 20 months. Every day that goes by, the younger black men become less and less connected to this whole civil rights movement era. That era is done, man. It's 2020.
And that's because, it's done because the women have changed. Trust me, if there were a lot of black women like my grandma, niggas would not have any desire to leave because, I'm pretty sure she had her day. Grandma was old since I was born, but, I'm pretty sure she had her day. And she could cook like grandma can cook. So let's be clear, it's not like we are turning down grandma. Nope, we turning down, shout out to Kevin Samuels, modern women. And that's if you get the opportunity for one that's decent. Y'all heard that chick. She said, oh no, I was just going on there for fun. Bitch, do you think that grandma actually went to like dating events? I don't know what they did back in the day. Oh no, I do know what they did back in the day. They whatchamacallit, they like Malcolm X, they did the dance and they used to say stuff like beans
the Lindy Hop and all that shit.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did in the cities, and in the country, I guess they danced in the middle of the barn, literally. But whatever they did, they met up, hooked up, married, and stayed married forever.
Okay. Well, they called it courting.
Yeah, they courted. Whatever it was, there was a process that they followed, and not a damn bitch was just there like, oh no, I'm not actually looking for a husband. I'm just here to shoot niggas down and laugh while I do it. They were not playing, but you are. You're playing these games, and you think that nuclear physicists want to play with you? Nobody want to play with your ass. Nobody want to. you have a game. You went on the show and your game was how many niggas can I reject today?
Well, they play a strange game, right?
It's funny. They think black men shooting you down is fun to them.
Yeah.
And then they wonder, like, well, why are you messing with white women? Because you didn't shoot me down, bitch. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Because when I was looking at that clip that you showed, I'm sitting there like, okay, this guy just a few months ago was putting his bid in. He took his shot at her, and she said, "No, I'm going with these guys over there." He said, "Okay, I'm shipping out to boot camp." You notice there was an attitude shift in the guy, right? His demeanor, since he went out to boot camp or wherever he went, he gained confidence because, again, there's a lesson in there for every black man out there listening. The more you expand your options, the less pussy power has over you. You see what I'm saying? Because that's why you have to play the numbers game when it comes to women as a man. If you do what you need to do, like that brother did, got his education and his credentials in order, you know what I'm saying? And he went out there, because I think, don't they usually send sailors either to San Diego or Annapolis in Virginia?
I don't know. I do know that Annapolis is a major naval academy, but I don't know if those are the only two places. I know we have a naval place in Oakland because I went there when I was in Boy Scouts. I don't know if that was a naval supply center or a shipyard or what.
Well, often they send them to San Diego or either DMV, and I can tell you as someone that's lived in San Diego for a year, and I went out to the DMV a couple times, there's a lot of options out there. There's some bad chicks in the DMV. There's some beautiful mixture of chicks in San Diego. So it seems like this guy, he went out there, he got cooperation, and that's why he was able to be so confident in rejecting her and checking her, because she doesn't have that pussy power over him at all. Because he knows, like, hey, the only power women typically have over a man is that she's a relative or he wants the validation of the sex. Outside of that, women really don't have no power. That's why pimps always tell you, keep your dick in your pocket. They say that for a reason. When you approach a woman on that thirst level, that's where her power comes from. When you don't approach her on that thirst level, it takes away all her power. And that guy, he was showing, hey, you're nothing. I can replace you, but your chance of replacing me is less than 1%. Do you realize that for her to get a version of him is less than 1%? He can find her, a version of her, anywhere on the planet. No problem. Anywhere.
Well, I mean, he definitely wasn't, he didn't seem interested. In fact, I have him tell you he never really was, like it was all like a joke, because at the end of the day, he's with, his white native chick. So, but I want to talk about some of the fuckery that was happening on the panel because, so basically I was getting it from Courtney Michelle and Dude. Now, what you would notice on this panel, and this is what I noticed on the stream, was that Courtney was championing the whole community-minded speech every chance she get. And it was kind of like a pat on the head / ooh, you so sexy validation. But she's like, you're sexy in the way that I'll never have sex with you. But, I will give you an empty platitude to keep you promoting Black love. Because it's not about the community. It's about Black love. When they say community, what they mean is Black pussy. Why? Because you can't have a Black community without putting my Black dick in your Black pussy, as every dark-skinned person ancestor has done, including mine. Like that is the only way. That is the only way you can keep this thing going. Well, we've been keeping the thing going for far too damn long. I want some substance. I want some motherfucking substance. And what do I mean by substance? I mean younger, hotter, sexier.
Well, they talk so much about the white supremacist thing. They haven't been doing their biology. See, the thing that's funny, they make that argument where they want to be the gateway of Blackness. But actually, if you actually study biology, you would know that the male carries more of a higher dosage of the genetic code than the female does. For example, when you read like a lot of the slave plantation books from the white male's perspective, like Thomas Jefferson, they would talk in their literature about the fact that they would do little experiments where they would take like a Black man and another race of woman, or they would take a Black woman and a white man. This is before slavery really took off, when Blacks were still free in this country, before they made it illegal to be free in those places. It was open at first. And these white dudes like Thomas Jefferson would talk about how they noticed that when a Black man got with a white woman, the children were much darker and they had more of the appearance of a black person. But
Barack
they noticed
Obama.
that they could let the women mate with the white men, and the children would tend to come out looking more like the white people. So blackness goes wherever the black male seed goes. Period.
Okay, I can see that. Like Holly Berry, Shamar Moore. Hey, but what do I want to say? Something I wanted to point out about Courtney and Michelle because they were saying doing what black women say is attractive to them. Listen, if we want to talk about what's attractive to them, and Courtney and Michelle, if you listening, come on up because I have one question for you. One question for you. One question for you. In your quest for a black community, black family, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, how many black men have you shot down in your quest?
Is she married?
I don't think she's married, but even if she was, let's just say she just got married like last year or yesterday or something like that. That still leaves over a decade of adulthood. So in your quest for black marriage, how many black men have you shot down? Because I could tell you back in the day, back in grandma day, back in the civil rights movement days and stuff like that, if you ask those women how many black men did they shoot down in their quest for community, the most they'll say is 4. The most they will say is 4. And typically the first 2 is happened in elementary school. Okay, let's be clear, it wasn't like that. How can you say women are spending decades? They are spending decades shooting niggas down, and then saying I want community. What the fuck?
Well, I think that's a great hustle. In my opinion, that's a huge hustle because again, they show something that's beautiful about human nature, like the level of narcissism and selfishness of us human beings. See, women have this thing that they can do in their programming where it's like, for example, if you ask a woman, because I don't know if this woman that you're talking about is over or under 30, because that matters, because if she's married, not married, over, under 30, these are things that matter. But something I've noticed with women, like I've never been a dude that asks a woman how many sex partners she's had, because to me, hey, we're just doing a casual thing. If she's not my wife, it really ain't that much concerns me. But women have this thing where they could have like banged like 100 dudes, right? But if they were telling you the story, they would say, well, I had sex with 10 guys in my life. So she's 30 years old. She had sex with 10 dudes, but she will tell you, I don't count the other 90 because I wasn't in love with them. Or it's just, this is a program that I see with a lot of women that they can do that, right? Whereas men try to tend to look for logic and some kind of consistency in what they're saying. They can just create this imaginary world that doesn't count. Like facts don't count. Like that study that you shared today, when I actually read the study, it didn't say anything about what she was saying. It said it all. It actually said the exact opposite. It actually strengthened the argument that men in this space have been making for years. When you actually read the actual report, you got to read it all the way through.
Okay. So I want to play this clip, but I want to keep in mind that the sacrifice that she is asking men to make for the community, she is not willing to make herself. The sacrifice being getting with a woman that we do not like is a sacrifice that she's asking us to make, and she's pretty much asking the majority of black men to make. But has she ever considered getting with a man that she's not particularly attracted to, or that she's not 100%, enamored by? Just saying. All right, so
I wish it was that way though. I whenever you ask them that question, though, they never answer, because I'm always like, okay, if you want the sexual socialism thing, well, let's go both ways. Let's take the bottom quarter, the least competitive men, and put them with the best women. They're not going to do that because hypergamy says she's going to use her beauty to get the highest bidder. Now they can understand it for them,
but she's waiting. Like the auction. I don't mind a woman, going for the highest bidder. But the problem is that they be having like 20-year auctions.
Yeah,
they've been on the auction block for 20 fucking years.
They don't mind it though. I think that we underestimate.
Okay, here we go. Edward, I'm gonna hook you up, Edward, because you say you like 5'6" or something like that.
5'3", Edward. He always says 5'3". I'm 5'3", so I guess he's 5'3".
Oh, so he's 5'3". Okay,
yeah,
so
Edward always says.
If Edward is 5'3", Courtney, make it happen. Make it happen.
No. It's 5'5" Edward. Yeah, he always says I'm 5'5". So he's
okay. So he's 5'5". Okay, so 5'5". Make it happen. I'm pretty sure you want somebody that's 6'5", but make it happen. The community, and this isn't me shooting at Edward. I'm just saying, like, what's stopping you? What is stopping Edward's dick from being in your mouth right now? What is stopping you?
Because she got someone else's dick in her mouth, and it ain't him. That's what it boils down to.
Okay, then create a community with this guy. Is this about community, or is this about raising the SMV of the women? So let's listen.
He's doing, and this is why Nate and all of them, because Nate ain't even SYSBM like that. Nate is more on the conservative side. And by the way, we have gone after conservatives. Yes, we've had these conservative fights too, when these niggas tried to take over. Shout out to Mr. Fantastic. I hope he comes back soon. But like it's so my point is, go ahead, GameChanger. I know you stood. Yeah, but yeah. So I'm just saying that there's a lot of mind changes going on here. One time a nigga is saying something like, oh, I don't see why everybody else is having these particular problems because I don't have these problems. I don't see why y'all complaining.
So this nigga, whoever it is in the t-shirt, so apparently he's a cop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some cops have this, especially black ones, they have this very weird dynamic to where they, many of them, like, okay, so I've seen it on this TV series about pimping. They are always trying to down other black men in the eyes of everybody who's watching. So one of them, when he arrested this pimp, he showed his hoes, like, look at him, he's a monkey in the cage and shit like that. Like, really? That's what you're doing. So they do have like this whole, there can be only one, and I'm going to try to besmirch the image of every other black man so mine can be the last one standing. He is riddled with this shit. So he's that nigga that's, because he was saying earlier how, I don't see how there's a problem. I don't have those type of problems. They don't really affect me. And then later he says stuff like stand in it and fight in it. Like, he was full of contradictions, so I called them out on all those.
That's a total contradiction. On one hand, you're saying it don't affect me, but then you want to. So on one hand, you're on the individualist tip, but then on the other hand, you jump and become like a socialist officer. See, this is the shit I be talking about, right? Because
he's doing that to, well, he's probably doing it to impress Courtney Michelle, to be perfectly honest. But
right.
He's doing that to Nick. He's doing that to go in the opposite direction that he thinks that the tone of the conversation is going in. So, in order to aggrandize himself.
Yeah, I see a lot of that.
He's attempting to shut everybody else up but himself. All right, let's continue.
And then he's next minute he's like, oh, we need.
Hey, I can't hear it. Hey, GC, you're on mute, man. Okay. Audience, can you hear me?
Even though maybe like 2-3 minutes prior to that, he's like, in a barrel. And then a moment after that, hold on.
He's trying to get his rocks off about
okay, I was like, he's not talking about Al, he's talking about
yeah, let him vent. Vent. Talking about who?
Yeah.
He's talking about me. Bless us all. Oh, you. Go ahead, GameChanger.
Yeah, I'm talking about this brother.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next moment, after saying niggas are like crabs in a barrel, he commenced to crab Little Big Nate over and over and over again. Even though maybe like 2-3 minutes prior to that, he's like, oh, somebody is just trying to do their work and people come and talk. It's like, oh yeah, just like you're doing to Little Big Nate.
Negativity can be like an addiction.
Yeah,
that's really the problem with our space a lot of times. I mean,
it is, Edward, and
that's why.
All right, I'm gonna stop right there for a second because shout out to Vulcans. Thanks a lot for the donation. And he says GC got jumped by a bunch of community. Well, I mean, it's just that I wasn't allowed to get a word in edgewise. But he's not for the community. This nigga's not for anything. He's basically just against everything, hoping that people will be for him. He's trying to make himself look good at the expense of others, and that's what he's been doing since he hopped on the panel. But he just winds up looking foolish. But you got something, Sigma?
No, I listened to the second half. I came into the second half of y'all discussion on there, and I was just listening in, but I just noticed that there was this conversation about some African dude from some African nation being like an example for black men. I just found it ironic that these foreign tethers know so much about everything, yet it's we black men who pay the highest tax rate of any group, that our money is sent over through U.S. aid and do all these NGOs to their nation. So my question would be, before any foreign tether comes and tries to make an example for me to follow, he is going to have to prove to me what kind of systems did he create in this country, how well is this country, and this country better not be taking any money in foreign aid that increases my taxes. So I can't even get into that conversation with a foreign tether until they confirm for me all the work they did in their own country to build up their country. I better not see no poverty. I better not see no housing, drought, malnutrition issues in that person's country. Because see, that's what I'm always talking about. The individual has to build themselves up first, take care of themselves before they start pointing the finger at building other people. And that's what we get too much of. People that haven't gotten their shit together telling you how they can be an example for you. So again, before a foreign flag person can come give me any instructions on what to do as a Native Black American man, they're going to have to show me the record and the proof that they were able to accomplish exactly what they're trying to do here over there. Because over there, you're the majority, you have the agency and the sovereignty to build up an example for Native Black people. If you can't present that example to me, then the conversation is over for me, period.
Yeah, I don't really know, and I don't like to hold individuals to the standards of their tribe. However, I will point out, and I don't know the guy. I'm not familiar with his body of work either. But if you immigrated to the U.S. for whatever reason, then you are, in a sense, SYSBM. I repeat, if you are, well, of course, if you are a BM, but if you are a BM that immigrated to the US for any reason, then you are SYSBM, whether it's greater job opportunity, whether it's for whatever reason.
Exactly.
You came here because you wanted something that we had an abundance of and that your home country did not have an abundance of. Now, so you didn't say
passport for me, but plantation for thee. That's the game they play. Can you imagine the level of hypocrisy? Being a foreign flag, trying to preach to me about me staying put, even though I have one of the second or third strongest passports in the world. Me being an American at a time when the US dollar now has surpassed the euro in strength. There was never a time in the last 30 years that it was a better time for black men to travel than today. The US dollar is now stronger than the euro, okay? It's cheaper for us to actually go to other countries and other places and take advantage of all this money that we're making here in America right now, because every day the euro is going down. So we surpassed them on Friday, and by this time next year, we could be 25% more powerful than the euro, which is the standard for many of their former colonies. So our American dollar now, that a year ago was weaker than the euro, is now stronger throughout all of that part of the world. There was never a better time for us to go somewhere. And you got foreign tethers coming here off our dollar. You got working class black men listening right now whose taxes are sent overseas to educate elites in their countries to do the bidding of people here. And then they come here and try to point the finger at you and tell you how to live. Nah, cut that shit out now. Cut it out.
Well, yeah, I mean, the stick with your tribe argument falls short when you or your parents came here and created another tribe or joined another tribe. That is essentially, so somebody said it was his parents that moved here. So let's just say that a man, let's just say like Pablo Escobar, he goes to Colombia and or Xanatos, he's in Japan and he starts a family there. His offsprings would be in the exact same position as him. So he is the actual offspring of SYSBM. But I don't want to talk about the man because I don't really have a problem with foreigners like that. And but I'm just saying that it is because when you travel, you become a foreigner, just like everybody who traveled here has become a foreigner by choice. So it is weird. Yeah.
People. A solution to this. But it's black people. Yeah, and I get that because ARC has done that too with Midtown, some other stuff when he didn't like the trolling. I understand the frustration with the trolling. I get that. Like I get when people come on somebody's channel and they sit there trying to take over. Hey, nobody here been trolled more than me. Yeah, which doesn't. Yeah, so my thing is, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
God damn.
No, nobody's been trolled more for like.
What the fucking boomers? I want to hear it. I want to hear it. Can man speak on his own show? All right, hold on.
It's 5 years. So even, I mean, the government trolls BGS. And that's not even a joke. That's not even a joke. Like, it's not a joke. But
so what I was doing in the interview was I was actually presenting a solution that was different than the solution that he provided. His solution to the problem would be to attack white supremacy. My solution to the problem would be to starve the system. Let women like that know that their way of being is not going to yield them the results that they like. Yeah, exactly. Just like when you showed the picture of the two women, and then you said that the problem was that the fat women, men kept going to them. And my solution is, well, men shouldn't keep going to them until they lose some fucking weight. And perhaps they should go elsewhere if they need companionship and families in the meantime. This will solve the problem. According to Courtney's stats, it has worked to help to solve the problem. You see, this is all right. Quick, Courtney.
Yes.
This is offering a solution. This is offering a solution to this whole, bad soil things. Sometimes you have to boycott. Remember the bus boycott? Sometimes things like that work. The solution isn't always fighting something. It's not fighting an abstract or anything like that. It's not staying in something. It's not sticking with it.
Sometimes the American white folks did not want to buy some zippy Asian cars, but Ford and Chevrolet kept on making cars every 3 years, and they knew how to make a better car. They started too. That's why Toyota.
Okay, so you see where this is going. Basically, I explained to the panel that, listen, the solution is not making excuses for the women who are in this situation. The solution is to avoid the women who are in this situation until they get better. Like, would you hire somebody with no arms to flip burgers? Now, you may sympathize with the reason that they come to not have any arms, but at the end of the day, they don't have what's necessary to flip burgers. Your thoughts? Okay.
Is that you talking right now?
In the world until this day because of that. So it again, and this is where Nathan has agreed, where we say, we're for. Here's the thing: wanting a market where it is a competitive market is good for both parties. But what you have is people that want to promote socialism in order.
It's not good for both parties. It is not good for both parties. A competitive market is not good for both parties. And it most certainly is not good for Courtney Michelle, as she's going to express. She's going to express that, listen, I do not want to compete with a Colombian chick. And keep in mind, this is not a competition for men. Okay, here's the sad thing that you fellas need to know. And this is the most unfortunate truth about modern women, and particularly modern black women in this particular context. They're not fighting for husbands. I repeat, they are not fighting for husbands. They are fighting for more niggas to reject. Oh, the truth of that hurts so bad. They are fighting for more niggas to reject. Just like that chick said, I was just going on there for fun. The more niggas they reject, the more fun it is to them. They want you to stay and get rejected. And that is the harshest fucking reality I could ever express to you in my entire life. Let me show you something like that. Hold on. All right, hold on. Did they take it down? I'm looking for frustrated black men in Brazil.
Al Green's documentary, right?
Yeah, so what comes up is a bunch of interviews with Al Green, but hold on, not the documentary. All right, so I can't really show you, but for those of you who remember seeing frustrated black men in Brazil, where they were talking about where the brothers was talking about how they went to Brazil, and the sisters were complaining.
Yeah, I know which one. Oh, you're talking about the one with Charles Tyler.
That was not Charles Tyler. That's when she was in his face complaining.
Yeah.
No, but they showed the ones who were complaining about the concept, like those complaints.
Oh, you talking about the one that Al Green interviewed in the actual documentary? Those chicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, there is someone that said, like, if you're arguing with a crazy person and you're wondering which one is the crazy one, it's probably you too.
Yeah.
No one wants to be seen arguing with a crazy person. That's kind of where you get when you have these conversations with a lot of these anti-black misandrists. Their disdain for black men is so deeply embedded in them, they can't see their contradictions, right? Like the same woman could see. So let's say that the situation you're talking about, right, on that Brazilian beach, there could be 100 black women out there with Brazilian men, white European men, just having a great old time. And then a small group of black men show up, 10 of them, and then there's 10 Brazilian women. All their attention is on those 10 guys. Mm-hmm. Even though they're doing the exact same thing by a factor of 10, they're more concerned about that small group of black men doing exactly what they're doing. Actually, it was black women in my mother's generation and your mother's generation that was talking that whole Terry McMillan crap. Remember that? When they made her huge and then she kind of disappeared after marrying the gay Jamaican guy?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. A lot of us grew up, we came after that, right? We came after the era of Terry McMillan.
I didn't. I was right smack in the middle of that shit.
See, and I came up when I saw my aunties watching like Stella Got Her Groove Back, Waiting to Excel, right? In those movies, they were promoting black women going to all these foreign places. So the young children, the black male children, was watching the same thing. Like, okay, moms and aunties is going over there. What they doing over there? Now that black men in this generation are doing it as a norm, now everyone just is, the alarms are going off, the fire alarms are going off. And now they're starting to sound like the KKK.
Uh-huh.
Because if David Duke was saying the shit that these people say, these anti-passport blacks say, if David Duke was saying it, all these black men would be up in arms. If David Duke was saying, we can't let black men go to these foreign countries, they would have an issue with it. But for some reason, another black person saying the same thing, you don't got a problem with it? It's wrong because it's wrong, period.
So let me show y'all what I mean about frustrated. So here. So basically, okay, take a look at this dude. Okay, well, okay, hold on right quick. Let me go back. I want to capture this. Look at this bitch, right? Take a look at her. Now, you don't see it, but she has a wedding ring on. I repeat, she on her left hand is a wedding ring. She is married. She is married. Oh, wait, maybe you can't see it. Hold on. Oh, damn, I can't catch it right. All right, hold on. There we go. There we go. She is fat and married and still complaining. She is not checking for any of the guys in the video. She will not try to find these guys, wives, girlfriends, or anything like that. These chicks will not try to replace. See, so it's not about finding a husband. She already found one of those. She already found somebody to marry her fat ass. So she already has a husband. It's not about husbands. It's about getting more niggas to reject. I repeat, these bitches are on the quest to reject more niggas. I repeat one more again. These bitches are on the quest to reject more niggas. Of course, she's not satisfied married. She wants to walk down the street and have a bunch of niggas hit on her so she can just show them the ring and shoot them down. That's what it's
currency
really about.
Because it's currency and it's a measuring stick for their what they perceive as their
how
sexual
they measure
market value.
the vagina. Absolutely.
Yes. The more they reject, they feel like the greater that they are.
Exactly. So she's off the market, but she still wants to be sold. She
because
still
wants, well, let's not act like
I put my car into okay. Take a look at this chick. Take a look at this chick, right? Now, let's just remember her. Remember what she looks like. 804. Hold on. Let's see. All right, showing the plane, take off. Come on. I've been there, not there, not the Flabellas. I've been to those steps. I didn't see her there. Wish I did. There. Yeah.
Don't go be with her. Don't go be with her.
Okay, right here. Okay, right here. Take a look at this guy. I'm gonna just say he's an average guy, right? What do you think would have happened if this guy right here at 904 got with, or attempted to get with this woman here? What do you think would have happened, Sigma? What do you think would have happened if that guy attempted to get with this girl?
I mean, it's probably a 90% chance that she's going to reject him, because if she's an American woman and she's probably, she's basic, probably like a nice, 6'7", that in America is premium these days. So she would probably look at him as inferior until he told her, what his status was in the world. Like if he said, I'm a doctor, then he wouldn't get rejected. But just off, just his appearance, he probably get rejected by her. Because again, even a 6 or 7 in the current American market is treated as a premium.
True. Okay, somebody said pineapple. Listen, she wouldn't reject him. She would reject him, film it, put it on her Instagram, watch that go viral, and then just say these niggas are constantly trying to get at me. Niggas are thirsty. Like, I can't believe him. He don't look at him and look at me. How dare him try to get at me? Is exactly what she would have done. That is how she would have got at him. But now she's on some, no, don't go. Why are you going there? Why are you going to that country? Come back and why? It's like, come back and
why are you going to the same country that me and my girls went on a whole trip to last spring? Why you want to go? That's really
exactly.
I've never heard more women in this last year since COVID, since COVID opened up, man. I got so many females I know, educated, got decent jobs and all that, talking about going on whole trips, showing it on IG. I know so many bras on IG that the moment that COVID let down, they're everywhere. I had a broad I know. This shocked me. She told me she was going to Colombia, just out of nowhere, right? I wasn't talking to her about no traveler at the time. She just mentioned that her and her girls are going to Colombia. And I'm like, damn, wait till the black brothers hear about this. And they were going down to Colombia with a group of girls. You see what I'm saying? So That's really what they're saying. Why are you black men waking up to what we've been doing for a generation? I don't like the fact that you're not here to be rejected. What am I going to do when we get back from our whole trips when there's no men in the room?
Agreed.
I ain't trying to do this lesbian thing.
There is a hypocrisy there. Now, take a look at this dude. Take a look at this dude. What would happen if he tried to get at the woman at 8:04?
Why are you trying to talk to that young girl? You 56, 60 years old. He a pedophile.
Yeah.
That's what they would say.
Exactly. Even though she's 32. What would happen? These are the men that they only notice these men when they are gone. Let's be clear. They only notice these men when they are not calling the Pineapple Show trying to fuck you. That is the only moment a nigga like this exists. And what do I mean by a nigga like this? A nigga like this who don't meet enough of the sixes. 6 foot, 6 pack, and 6 figures. He probably don't meet any of them. He definitely don't meet the 6 pack one. So yeah, they only give a fuck about somebody like this if he died. Listen, if the doctor said that this nigga right here was about to die because his cum is about to turn into acid and the only way you can save his life is to suck his dick, they would not suck it. They would not give a shit.
It's sad what you're saying. I hate what you're saying, but it's true.
If he was dying from unsucked dick, they would not give a shit.
They would call him a lame for that. See, if he was to do that, it's a weird dynamic that they have. So they want someone to bully. What it is, they're psychos that want someone to bully, right? So the scenario that you're laying before us, what they really want, bro, not only the sexual market value piece that you mentioned, but they really want to just keep bullying black men. They would let that dude die alone.
Their repertoire of niggas to reject. When they say living their best life, a large part of the living my best life cycle is to reject a bunch of niggas.
Yes.
And let this be clear. And this is to you, Courtney Michelle. This is a fair question. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Not bragging. 2 out of 3 here. Xanatos and the third, I don't think they know until, it should be too late. But shit, like, I'll be damned. Shout out to Steph Cleanscale for having all 3. Shout out to Steph Cleanscale for having that 6-pack. But god damn, like, I don't know if it's my age, but I used to didn't have to work so fucking hard for it. It's like, man, if I was 22, I'd see it by now.
Oh, you just wake up and the 6-pack is showing when you're 22. Once you hit 30, I'm starting to see now. Now I got to run a couple more miles. Now I got to do a couple more sets than I used to do just 5 or 6 years ago.
Well, I ain't doing that shit.
I'm doing it. I'm staying tight, bro. I don't care. I'm keeping my
there
shit
you
tight.
go. You go for the 3-6s.
Well, I ain't having no beer gut, bro. That's you. I'm good.
The Xanatos, they still find a way to curb you because they are in an abundance mindset, and quite frankly, they just like curbing niggas. Quite frankly, that is their pleasure. When they say living their best life, it includes curbing as many niggas as
That's an important ingredient, bro. I'm telling you, bro, their ability to curb you and reject you is a part of their self-esteem, and I think we got to keep tying it together. A lot of American women, especially, they get a lot of their self-esteem and they judge the sexual current market value by how many men they reject. They compete with each other, not by how many men they fuck. How many did you reject? How many did you not reject?
Courtney Michelle Courtney, you're welcome to come up, but you're stacking the dicks and you know it. And I'm sorry, but I have to
Courtney Michelle put out a false report, bro. I read through that survey and you know how I get down. I went through it.
We're going to get into that on a whole separate show. I'm going to talk to you in the back.
Yeah, okay.
But Courtney Michelle, you're stacking dicks. You have plenty of husband material dudes in your DMs in your area right now.
Just in case, Dick. Just in case.
You're still rejecting. And because you feel like you haven't rejected enough niggas in your lifetime, you are promoting this community thing so you can reject more. Ray, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are we talking about abs and you doing push-ups? What the fuck? Ray, you my dude, but what the fuck is up with you? We talking about abs, and you trying to build your arms and chest. The fuck, dude? Like, oh, I got to get them abs. Let me do some push-ups. The fuck? You way off. You are far from the sixes, Ray. That shit is what the fuck? What the?
He got that prison workout on the wall. He's trying to get that prison physique.
Okay, I get it. Get the arms, but we talking about
no
abs.
legs, all upper body, no abs, just shoulders and chest. But according to Michelle, and women like that, though.
Water doing suicides. Like,
I mean, I don't know how old the woman is, like you were talking about, but I know this much: if she's a woman that's at 30 at least, she's rejected many. I've talked to so many women in my own family who've told me about the number of guys that have tried to propose to them. My own mom told me a story about a good guy that she knew and that she liked him as a friend, and he wanted to be in a marriage, but that's not who she wanted. She wasn't sexually attracted to him. She just was not attracted to him. So these women keep these dudes. They don't count. In their mind, those guys do not count because they didn't want those men. They weren't attracted to them. Those men only count when she's at the grocery store 30 years later and she sees him with his family, and it happens to not be a black family, and he's happy, and he don't even remember her because she's 2 times bigger than she was then. If she would have got him, she would have been set. But they pass up on those guys, and they don't count them until it's way too late.
See, what I don't like is the dick desert talk. I can't stand that. I can't stand the dick desert talk. You know, that's what I dislike. When chicks talk like, you know, oh, I can't seem to find any dick out there. And then you pull your pants down and they like, oh yeah, but no, pineapple, but I can't find any dick. They're whining for more dick.
Yeah. It's not 10 ain't enough in one day. She's like, that's not enough.
Yeah, they just
doesn't count until you get 20. But you gotta admit though, men can learn a lot from these women. These women be having standards. They got hella standards, bro, because see, she got 10 dudes chasing her, but for her, she's like, it doesn't count until I get to 20 dudes sweat me that I can reject. Once I get to 20, then I can consider one of you guys. And what they're worried about is that now it's only 5 dudes sweating them because the other 15 dudes are gone. They are all kind of other places. See, that's what they're mad at, because now it's impossible for them to meet the old standard of 15 because there's only 5 men competing for them. And those dudes is kind of lukewarm right now with it. You feel me?
Exactly. It's CWS. It is CWS. These chicks are suffering from CWS. They're suffering from cold approach withdrawal syndrome. Brothers are even, you don't have to go to another country to just not approach these bras like that. Xanatos was saying that, you know, he go to the club and he has all the 6s. And Xanatos, if you got the ghostly outline, I'm in my 40s. I got a ghostly outline of it. You know, I'm talking about having a full step clean scale defined shit, you know, but that's cool that you got that, you know, but he's saying that, you know, hey, they curb him. They go to the club to curb niggas. Let's be honest. They just looking for more niggas to curb. Anyway, Vulcan says, you brothers hit the nail on the head. Thanks a lot, brother. Thanks a lot.
See, that's weird that you said it is still like that, because when I went out to the West Coast, I had a great time. But I was talking to a babe that I'm familiar with, and she was out in LA, and she told me a story about a party that she went to with Drake, and she said it was like 5 women to 1 man. So it was like we have this bottleneck thing going on in American society where it's like a lot of dudes are leaving the room, right? So she went to a party.
Why would you go? Why would you go? Why would you as a man go to a party with Drake?
Exactly.
I don't listen. If you go, fellas, listen good. If you go to a party with Drake, then and if it's 100 women there, he's gonna fuck 99 of them, and the rest of you niggas is competing for the last one.
And that's what that's what she was saying. She was talking about that.
Exactly. The fuck you go to a party with Drake? Don't. Am I gonna go to a Warriors party? I'm 6'0". Am I gonna go to a Warriors party? If somebody said, "Hey, the Warriors is throwing a party after a game," like, "Oh, really? Like, yeah, GameChanger, you want to come?" Like, yeah. What the fuck am I gonna do? I don't drink. What the fuck am I gonna do at a Warriors party? Just not be seen. All I would do is dance, and I wouldn't be seen over the other motherfuckers, even the short basketball players dancing and shit like that. Get the fuck out of here. Like, oh, so what do you do?
Yeah,
I'm a water
and
boy.
there's
I'm a grown ass water boy. Like, what in the fuck? What kind of play am I gonna get at the Warriors
You the
party?
mascot at the Warriors party. You the mascot.
I'm the mascot.
But
Do they have a mascot?
like real shit, like she was telling me about it. She was like, yeah, there was like a 10-1, whatever the numbers were. But basically Drake and his crew, they had the VIP lockdown and they had all the women. But the women, you got 100 women competing for 10 dudes, and she couldn't understand why so many regular everyday guys are just like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going through it.
I would go and say that I'm somebody's cousin. I would go and say that I'm Steph Curry's cousin. Even though
I would say I'm their agent. I would say, hey, I'm Steph's agent.
Oh shit, agent, yeah.
Because see, when you play the agent role, you could still be your true self, white collar. But then she's like, okay, he got connections with the players in the front office. I might want to get with him, so I'm gonna play the agent. You could be the bodyguard. I'm gonna be the agent. I'm his agent. I'm working on the contracts. Get with me.
Okay, that's what's up. All right, let's get into this some more. Hit the like button.
See, I have confidence that Black people will find each other if both parties come in good faith. I have confidence in that. A lot of folks don't see. This ain't no slick at Obi. I'm talking about. In fact, Clarence is more of an example of niggas that come on this. A lot of people don't have that same confidence. Then the problem is you have women, because here's the thing. When you look at how we talk with the dudes, what do we say? You need to self-improve. You need to get your game up. BGS brought Kevin in for that purpose when they'll do that. So, and that's where a lot of his stuff outgrows. So men have no problem telling other men they need to do what they need to do to expect quality. The problem is you have, just like how men will deal with fat women and try to get around that, you have women that will deal with broke dudes, but then say the D is good and this is that, and then have kids by them. I'm not saying that's everybody, which is why when people get married, I used to give women a lot more rope. Generally, benefit of the doubt. Niggas talk about let my panel talk. Man, y'all can get blocked. Y'all say that. I get that all the time. I hear women enough really telling women what the fuck. I was like, damn, this how you know she mad.
As soon as she said it, my work is done here.
Oh,
don't.
But okay, I'm not.
The good news is,
okay.
Out of four of those women that was on there,
don't quibble.
Hold on, but what you need. So that's the good news of it. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, let me. I wanted to talk, respond to GameChanger because you were giving your solution, and I honestly, the reason why I support Alan because I support his solution.
Now, I want y'all to hear what's about to happen. I support his solution, and his solution gives me more niggas to reject. She don't want these men to be rejected by other groups of women. She don't want these men to be rejected by the frustrated, by Brazilian women. Oh, and God forbid that she wants him to. Why is it? Am I echoing? Okay, let me do this.
Yeah, when you play your share, that gives it an echo, I guess.
Okay, but like it wasn't even the thing wasn't. Okay, is this better? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good now. You're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So basically, she supports their solution because their solution gives her more niggas to reject, and that is currency. That is currency. That is coochie currency. Shout out to the brother that joined the channel. Yeah, let's see.
I mean, it's a form of currency.
Perot 504. Appreciate you.
Even amongst when a woman's dealing with men, when they see, because for example, if you and I are going after the same woman, and she talks about, yeah, GC was trying to get at me before, but I wasn't interested in him. That's part of their currency to raise their value as well, so that I will be like, oh, for real, he was trying to get it too. Let me lock this down. It's problematic when that woman can't even say that to you or me. When she can't go to GameChanger and say, Sigma was trying to get at me. Because when you find out you're the only one that's trying to get at her, you might be like, well, maybe she ain't as good as I thought. But when you see that a lot of men are interested in her and she's telling you, I got all these dudes chasing me, a lot of guys, that's like that bone that they're chasing, right? So that matters. So for them, the ability to reject and have a narrative to share with other women in competition and with other men is important. And what's happening, like the chunky chick that you showed from the video, she already got a guy, But her problem is that she can't monkey branch like she wants to. See, a lot of these women want to cuck, right? They never say it, but there's a rising cuckoldry culture in the United States that's very problematic, right? And the women are the ones that are promoting. So she probably has other married women that have boyfriends on the side that they're having affairs with, but she don't even got that option. She's stuck with that guy. So They also want to be able to make their husbands in the cucks as well.
Well, okay, there is truth in that. I don't know for sure, but I do agree with your reason to suspect it. You know, I do know that more than actually cucking their husband, they do just want that attention. I'm going to bring Aisha Curry as an example. See, even when they're married, happily married, you know, to rich, tall, you know, who hits all the sixes and some eights, you know, even still, she's like, yeah, he's probably like 6'8". Even still, she wants that attention. She even said, like, listen, you know, I'm tired of dudes looking at Steph when I walk in the room. I'm used to dudes looking at me. They just need that attention. The ring does not block the need that they have.
No, I think it's more than attention. They
probably want some penis too, but
yeah, I think she wants some penis, bro. She wants some penis.
I'm not going to call that until it happens. You know?
Okay, now we've had this conversation before, and I'll put it out there again. I still think that she's going to get someone that's the exact opposite. It's going to be a dark-skinned dude that is the exact opposite of him. I'm telling you, just mark my words. We're going to have this conversation one day. Watch.
Okay.
So you placed your bet against it, but you say it's just attention. I think that might have been true for women in the 80s and the 90s. It was just an attention thing. But in today's culture, you're dealing with women who have a pool that's huge.
It could be both. Like I always say, DNA, dick and attention. Like when I coined that phrase, fuck whoever else claims that.
Come on, man. Don't take that from Tommy Sotomayor. He's going to show up in the chat. He's going to show up in the chat. He's going to show up.
All his shit. I'm taking all your shit. Fuck you, nigga. I hate you.
Now Tommy about to show up.
Fuck you, nigga. I hate you. Anyway, what was I? So when I started the phrase dick and attention, I do understand that it's both. I do understand that they have a desire for both of them. So yeah. However, you know, I want to focus on the attention one more so because that's what they're shooting after. That is what they're shooting after. That is what Courtney is shooting after right now. And she is exchanging attention. She's giving attention to the men who have the talking points that will get her more attention. That is what she is doing right now, real time. And this is no hate against Courtney. Listen, I understand. However, you need to find a dick and fuck it. Shout out to Rashida Strober. She found a dick and fucked it. Okay, that's what you need to do. Community. If you're not sucking dick, I don't want to hear shit. Okay, I don't want to hear nothing. You find one, you fuck it, and then you fuck a ring out of it. That is what you do. Shout out to Rashida Strober for doing that.
I don't know, man. I think that
she said real good. Exactly.
A lot of women today put the options. They put the options above the ring. I think that it's the men. They spend a lot of time talking about the ring, but these women today, the ones that I see out here, they actually enjoy the freedom of not having to worry about a ring. Because again, that's why the chunky chick was so angry. It's the options that they want even more than the ring. A lot of women consider these in 2022. They consider a ring like a form of slavery, man, and control.
I just did a video about it.
It's not supposed.
I just did a video about a chick who said that she's not taking it that serious. So
really?
Hold on, right quick. Let me play some more because I want to see. So somebody asked, what was my point? My point was that you should avoid these fat ass, ugly ass, nasty ass bitches. That men, black men in particular, should have some damn standards. Have some damn standards. You know what you are? You're Ludacris. That's what you are. You Ludacris, and I'm Terrence Howard. And we're in the movie Crash, and we're in the car, and I give you the gun back, and then I say, you embarrass me. And you embarrass yourself too. Damn right. Stop talking to these fat ass bitches, because then I got to deal with the overflow. And Xanatos know what the fuck I'm talking about. Living in the Bay. We got to deal with these bitches who will never talk to a Silicon Valley nigga like they have a chance. But they come to us. but they come to us because they seen some other nigga, some other ghostly outline of a 6-pack dude get at a fat bitch, and they think that it's open season on my dick. That's his dick, not mine. You confusing me with the next dude. You confusing me with Ludacris. Fuck that.
No, they're confusing you with the homeless guy. That's who they're confusing you with, because those dudes are actually looking for a meal and a hot place to sleep.
Okay, well, yeah, rent and mortgage out here is a motherfucker. Yeah. So, all right, here we go.
Talking to women, and even about the weight issue, specifically just saying your fat needs to lose weight is actually counterproductive. It was getting to the whys that.
How's that not counterproductive? And what are you trying to produce? What do you think it is that I am trying to produce by not fucking a fat bitch? What production? Do you think Rubik's Cubes come? Is that how you make a Rubik's Cube? Instead of for like a Rubik's Cube factory, like it just comes out of not fucking fat bitches. What do you mean produce? Do plastic forks come out of an empty fat bitch's pussy? What in the fuck? What does she mean produce?
That's amazing what she just said. She said it's counterproductive. Now let's flip it. Now what if it was a guy that was on a panel full of women and he was on there like calling men broke and bummy and homeless is counterproductive. See, when you flip it on them, they never can really explain themselves. It's the standard that they have for themselves, where something they actually have so much control over. I've seen women that were 180 pounds lose like 40 pounds. They look like a completely different person, right? Much more beautiful. They went from like a 6 to an 8 just because there's a lot of beauty under fatness, because women, fatness can hide beauty, right? So you just tell them, hey, get in the gym, do some intermittent fasting, just put down the plate. That's easy, right? But a man, no, hell no. To be a successful man in America, we've never had a more economically competitive environment in America than 2022, at a time when we're in the worst recession that we've probably ever seen since the Great Depression. So to be a successful man, you gotta grind, you gotta compete, you gotta beat out everyone on the globe, not just America. You gotta be smarter than the kid in Asia with his math book. You gotta be smarter than the African with his book in Nigeria. So an American man that can reach the pinnacle of success, he has to do something that is not just biological. It's biological, it's mental, it's environmental. The female, all these men are saying is get on a goddamn treadmill, get on a diet plan, and stay on the diet plan. But she can't understand it. But she can understand if you said it about the men. If a man came to her on a panel of women talking about, see, this isn't constructive for y'all to call me broke and bummy. Oh, get out of here. You dusty. They're hypocrites. Exactly. And they deserve to be single because of that hypocrisy.
Now, I'm not going to pin that on Courtney, because apparently she don't really go up on men like that. But to say that it's counterproductive to, just not mess with women like that, I mean, you're not trying to produce anything. So you're trying to save yourself from something that you don't necessarily want. I mean, by that logic, the bus boycott was counterproductive. And instead, you should actually talk to the busing agency and explain your plight. So here, let's go.
Was productive. When we are your solution, game changer, it makes a lot of divestors. Talking to Cynthia G and listening to her, it was that your solution was creating what's counterproductive to the community. And so that's why I support Alan and also Nathan, is because it's getting
your solution, and Courtney, please feel free to come up. Your solution is promoting divestors. Your solution is supporting divestors. My solution of not fucking fat bitches is causing fat bitches to divest. Then hey, go for it. Go for it. Out. Because you want to know why? And this is to you, fat women, because I know y'all listening to me. I know that y'all listening to me touching the keyboard with greasy ass fingers. I know that that's what you are doing right now. You listen to me, and you listen to me good, fat bitches. You have never invested. I repeat, you have never invested. You haven't invested shit in your entire life. You have never invested anything. You are the one. You are the one that don't chip in at the family barbecue. You don't put in your cut, but you eat more barbecue than everybody. Talking about divest. What in the fuck do you ever invest? You don't even invest the time in the motherfucking gym. You haven't invested shit. You don't invest in marriage. You don't invest in healthy children. You don't invest in healthy families. You don't invest in baking birthday cakes on kids' birthdays without eating the motherfucker yourself. You haven't invested shit. Damn right. It be fat bitches like you where it's a kid's birthday party and the cake got a motherfucking bite out of it. That's you. That is you. And you try to hide it with candles and shit. That is you. You haven't invested shit. How do you divest in something you haven't invested in? Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate you. Go for it, Sigma.
Well, to them, investment means selling out their families to the government, selling out their families to the dominant society. To them, that was an investment because to them, the government is their friend. Whereas men have learned over time that the government is your enemy. You want a smaller government that does basic things, but not to have total control of your life. They're willing to give the government control over their families. Why do you think things like preschool? Every year, the state tries to find out a way to get children out of the home and into their grasp quicker and quicker. So now they got like preschool. And next year they'll have Head Start. So they basically want to get to the point where they can take the baby straight from the womb to some kind of state factory to start programming them. So to them, they're in an equal partnership with the state. Whereas the men are like, hey, man, I want to control my own family. I want to have control of my own life. I want agency. So I think that these groups are competing for something different. One group wants more agency. The other group wants more state benefits from the hardworking groups. And that's where we have like a lot of confusion, bro. We want different things in terms of what we expect from society at large. I don't wake up looking for the government to do anything for me. I want less taxes. I want less government in life and more freedom and more money. They want more taxation, more interference. So it's just you want two different things, man.
No, I feel you.
So they don't consider themselves, they feel like that is an investment, though, Game Changer. They feel like they are invested in the state and the state ownership of their families and themselves. They're willing to make that deal. You and I are not.
No, you make a valid point. I'm looking for something while you're talking. I'm looking for something that I wanted to show the fellas. Okay, here we go. Hold on, let me see. I don't want her to be naked, so let me just check this right quick. Give me a second. No, she's not naked. All right, so here. All right.
Nate Dogg makes a good point when he says that treat them fat women the way that white boys treat them, no mercy. Because I'm in the Midwest, so I'm surrounded by whiteness. I get a chance to see the interplay between our groups a lot, and he's 100% right. Out here, bro, they don't play that shit, man. And even when they deal with like black women, every time I see a white dude I know, right, and they happen
That's
to be
because
like,
they have standards.
Yeah, they will have a black woman in shape, and you like, damn, the same black dude working in the same office that white boy work at, he gets the fat girl, but here's this white dude, he gets the best of this bitch. That's
because they hold themselves to a standard, and the women feel obligated to meet it, and they feel better knowing that they have met the standard. Okay, let me show y'all about divesting. They are divesting from us the way I am divesting from her.
But they won't divest from the buffet, though. It's amazing.
No. You see, I ain't divesting from her. She's divesting from me. How's she gonna say, like, I just said that don't mess with these broads, and she said that caused divesting. They're not divesting at the point. They can only divest if you were messing with them to begin with. Like, it doesn't make sense. It's kind of like you're not divesting at that point. Oh, just like I'm divesting from her. Like that's like me shooting my shot. I think that's making good. That's like me shooting my shot at this chick right here, and then she shoot me down, and then I say I divested.
Right, like a dude going to a Mercedes-Benz car dealership. He can't afford the car and said,
yeah,
he couldn't afford it. Saying
$5,000.
Anyway,
I divested.
Yeah, I divested from that Mercedes-Benz.
Am I divesting from her? Fuck no, I am not. So I'll put up a dark skin one for Rashida. Am I divesting from this one?
Nah, we're not divesting from that. Nah, we're not divesting from that.
Let's get the fuck out of here. Like divesting. If I'm not into fat bitches and other dudes are not into a fat bitch, she's like, oh, I'm gonna take my pussy elsewhere. There's no elsewhere. We're
There
the
is no
bottom.
elsewhere,
No
bro. They've
one
been
has a lower
exposed.
bar. No one has a lower bar than black men.
The white
Meaning
woman
that if you are
exposed them,
rejected
bro.
by us, you are rejected by the plurality of penises.
Yes.
All right.
Your own allies already snitched on you. Nothing was bigger than the reports that came from the dating apps. To me, once you see what the dating app said about this attempt to divest, there really is no more debate on it because Tinder, Bumble, OkCupid has made it clear. No group of people, male or female, black, white, Asian, attempts to date another race more than American black women and do it with the least amount of success. So you're not divested anywhere. That's the difference between a black man doing interracial dating and divestment. A black man understands. I carry the seed of blackness. No matter where I go, I will still be portrayed as a black man. White men make it clear to me many times. When they see a white woman with a black man, to them, she might as well just be black. So you can't divest it. There's no illusion about it. If you're riding with me, you're riding with a black man. You could be black, white, Asian woman. You riding with me, you're with a black man. There is no divestment. So these women are fooling themselves because the dating apps, their white allies, have already sold them out when they put out their report saying no group tries harder to date other races with the least amount of success than black women. They're below every other group, male or female. So where exactly are they divesting to except a corner of the internet to soak their sorrows with each other? That's about the only place. They're divesting to a dark room in a closet in misery.
So Rashida Strover says no one has a lower bar than black men, and then she has the question marks.
But yes, the facts don't show that, though. The facts don't show that. The facts show that black
I'll put the link out there for Rashida. But I mean, here's the thing. Here's what I mean. I mean that as far as physical standards, Rashida, physical standards, black men have the lowest. How many times have you seen because you're in the South? How many times have you seen a black man with an overweight woman? You believe in fitness and you believe in looking good and keeping your titties shiny and stuff like that, and your natural hair and stuff like that. But how many? Okay, you were just repeating. Okay, so you understand what I mean. All right, so let me continue.
To the why, it's more of an understanding as to why, so I can fix it. Not only fix it to make it sure that it's not a generational curse that's going to go on to the legacy that I'm leaving behind.
So let's be clear here. Let's be clear here. These women, when GameChanger says what.
Okay, here's the thing. The way to stop this generational curse is to stop being, or is to be more desirable. Hence, be a better bitch. That is the solution to all problems. Be a better bitch.
I just don't understand what's so hard about just keeping yourself in a healthy body fat percentage range. They got it
in a pleasant disposition. That's all we're asking. Fit, feminine, and friendly. You know.
But I'm seeing though, like
to all that ails you.
But a man,
it's the cure to polio. It's the cure to COVID. It's the cure to
it's the cure to longevity. Longevity. You live longer if you have a healthy body fat, man.
I don't care about that. I'm saying it pleases me better is the most important thing. See, that's the most important thing. Because, if you live long, that's fine, but you're going to be old those years. I'm talking about pleasing me now. You need to work on that. Damn it.
Now, the comment that you got from Dark Skin TV where it says no one has a lower bar than black men, that's your argument?
No, she just said she was repeating me. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, yeah, it's definitely when you talk to other races of men, they seem to think that we black men have the lowest standards for women. They really do believe that.
Because it's true. We have lower standards. We have to improve our standards. But see, Courtney, she wants the loyalty to continue. Nope, lying. That link was for Rashida. Yeah. So I was a brother in the background. But yeah. But Courtney, she wants the loyalty to be not to the quality of a woman, however, to the community that the women belong to. Listen, if you are going to, and this especially goes to Rashida, if you are going to limit my dick, to a very particular demographic of women, then it better be spectacular. If you don't want me fucking light skinned or non-black women, then you better throw me some chocolate. Some good chocolate.
I mean, good luck with that.
And I'll consume it. You
We'll see.
you got to start passing out chocolate drops to do. And I'm not talking about these Gabrielle Sidibe looking bitches, these precious bitches. No. I'm talking about more like you. You got to throw out some of those. And until you do, we are going to continue to place our penis in the most attractive vaginas we can find.
Well, I think a lot of those women that say that.
We had Rashida, where I was talking about competing. You got to compete for my dick. That is right. And you have an equal opportunity at it. You have an equal opportunity at it. All right, let me continue. What was you going to say, Sigma?
I was going to say that I think that's something that needs to be surveyed out there across the country, because I can already know what's happening in my area, but I see a lot of colorism against dark-skinned black men from actual dark-skinned black women more so than any other group. In fact, it's like with other groups, dark skin is considered a plus to them. But I think there needs to be a discussion of are dark-skinned men discriminated against by black women, especially dark-skinned ones. I see a lot of dark-skinned women that be having preferences for lighter-skinned men and white men because they want lighter-skinned children because of like trauma that they had where they don't want to reproduce dark skin, and they internalize that and then project it out on darker-skinned men. I've seen it a lot. Don't be surprised to find the darkest skinned women with the whitest, palest dudes you ever seen. You see when Elon Musk was on that yacht and how pale his ass was out there the other day? That's how pale the white dudes I see with the darkest skinned women.
Where first of all, are you dark?
Yes, I'm a dark skinned brother, yes.
Where do you live?
I'm brown. I'm darker brown skin, yeah.
Where do you live?
I'm in Minnesota right now, but I'm from Wisconsin.
And it's like that out there?
Yes. When I
I'm not a dark skinned dude. I'm brown. I'm brown.
But I'm just saying that it's a lot of internalized stuff that goes on that we don't talk about. Like, I'm serious. When I see a lot of the darkest skinned women I see, they be with the whitest white people, or they be with like the lightest black men. And that's who they're chasing after. They got dark skinned dudes trying to get at them, but a lot of them pass on dark skinned dudes because a lot of them have a problem with their own complexion. A lot of them do. We don't talk about this. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but as a dark skinned man, I'm telling you, I've talked to enough dark skinned dudes that said that when they see other groups celebrating their darkness, like when they say that dark, tall, and handsome thing, a lot of those groups be with that shit.
All right. She's asking what color is your wife?
My girlfriend she's brown skinned. She's dark skinned. In fact, she had an issue like that where we would have this conversation with her and her dark skinned friends often. Where
shit.
I would tell her how beautiful I thought dark skinned women were, right? And she was always talking about how, like, I noticed that her and her dark skinned friend were always talking about the men that weren't appreciating their beauty more than the actual men that do. So even though this group of dark skinned women had these dark
they want more dudes to reject.
Yes, exactly.
That's my point. I dated a chick from New York who was on that shit.
Yeah, they be on that shit.
She told me that. She straight up told me that she was dark skinned, and of course I was attracted to her. So she's in fact, now that I think about it, she was attractive because, and I'll show you her picture in the back.
Okay, so dark skin.
Right quick. Not only was she attractive, like all of her jobs that she has ever had was somehow related to her looks. Like whether she's a bottle girl, whether she just stands outside of a nightclub in a form-fitting dress so niggas come in, to entice customers and shit like that. Hostess, like everything that she does, everything that she did was somehow related to her looks. It gave her an edge in all of her jobs. So she should know that because this is her bread and butter, that she is a decent looking woman, but she still just felt like she was suffering and being tormented and because she was dark skinned and shit like that. So and she said that she didn't want to procreate with dark skinned dudes. I forgot that she said that.
I've met a lot of women like that, but I've never really talked about it on these panels. But I'm so tired of the colorism against this hypocrisy where these women that be the loudest speakers about dark skin trauma and all that, they actually did dark skin trauma on their own brothers, their own sons. And then when they get into adulthood, they be the first ones that when a light skinned dude or a white dude look their way, boom, they out. Now, I don't care because I'm all for freedom of choice, but just be real with your shit. Tell the world, hey, I have a problem with my I'm a dark-skinned black man. I love being a dark-skinned black man. I don't want blonde hair. I don't want lighter skin. I love being a dark-skinned motherfucker. And then when it's hot outside and I take off my shirt, I look good when the sun shines and all those pasty white folks out there. But it's a lot
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, Rashida. It says she was being traumatized. She shouldn't be traumatized because she's sucking my dick. Like, and that's the thing. Like, nothing else should matter at that point. Why is she tripping on old shit?
No, I didn't blame
I obviously, well, right quick. Rashida, I obviously found her attractive, and my dick should be enough. Why is she caring that she doesn't feel like she gets enough attention from greater society? There is no greater society than my penis. She should be happy. You only need one, and she got it. Why is there complaints after that?
No, she says that I'm not totally blaming black women. In fact, I'm doing the opposite. What I'm saying is that they have a platform for airing their grievances to the world for so long. But do black men not have the right to also give our side of the story, Rashida? Yes, we do. A lot of dark-skinned black men didn't think they were handsome until they got out of the black community that they were raised in. How do I know? I saw it with so many black men that I played sports with. Within their own community, they were just blah. But then when they went out into the world and got into the open sexual marketplace, they had women coming from all directions, how dark and handsome they were. So there it goes both ways. But the thing is, you're just used to not hearing black men's opinion on it. That's all.
Well, every place is different. I don't think Cali's like that, but I've never been a super dark dude or a super light dude. So maybe I'm tripping. And one agrees with me, perhaps even Xanatos would agree that I'm not really sure if a man's complexion is working really for him or against him in any strong way out here. So, and I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. So time will tell. Let's listen to some more.
Because remember, GameChanger talks to more women actually than a lot of guys that are really true blue in the black manosphere. That kind of gets lost in that, like when Chantel Simone was smaller, a lot of folks, and that's always been the history. So it's not. But when GameChanger says that, they already know. The issue is he says that to kind of to shock them into shit. Cause sometimes that's what they need. And as far as why they go to let's be clear here. When they go to Cynthia G, Chrissy Paris, and all of them, because there's degrees, they go to them because just like how with Colorism used to complain about, they know what they need to do. They don't want to fucking do it, and they want to tell somebody it's okay to not do it. What's unique now is you're starting to see, and I'm talking from the perspective of what you and Obi is trying to do, is you're starting to see women starting to be able to get larger and be able to weather that storm that these other women are bringing, to the point where even women like Paris, and even because this speaks to what you said with GameChanger, even women like Paris and women like Chrissy are starting to come off that absolute hate shit. Because it's my policy that I hope Cynthia G gets 1 million subscribers, because that way nobody can say that we just making that shit up and there's no audience. But anyway, my Obi's trying to do. Like, it doesn't, and that's
Highlander
syndrome. I'll respond to that.
Yes, I call it Highlander syndrome. That's my version of crabs in the barrel.
I'll respond to that super chat too, Edward.
Okay.
Let me respond to Courtney right quick, please. Courtney, when a guy that you don't like hits on you, do you sit and try to change him into a guy that you do like, or do you wait for a guy that you do like to hit on you?
When just a random man comes to try to hit on me?
Yeah, a random man, there's something that you don't like about him. Do you find out the psychological reason, the root of why you do not like, or why he doesn't possess the qualities that you like? Or do you just pineapple him and go to the next guy?
Well, no, if somebody that I don't know tries to date me and I'm not interested, then I will let them know I'm not interested.
Okay, so why are you suggesting that men who are not interested in a particular type of women take the approach of get to the psychological reason to why we are not interested?
That's not what you're saying, to be fair.
That's exactly what's being applied. I mean, I know no analogy. Edward, shout out to you. I appreciate you having that last stream. Appreciate you putting my name in the title and all that good stuff. But there you go. Like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that? Basically, I'm trying to explain that just like you have standards, we have standards, and we should have them. That's what I'm trying to explain. And you come like, it's not that. And then BGS like, no, it's not that. It's not that. I'm a boomer. It's not that. That's what BGS just said. Like, so what the fuck was that? It is exactly that, Edward and BGS. It is exactly that. Just like you say no thank you. See, because what she was saying before was, I appreciate Nathan's and Alan's approach. And their approach is to, when you come across a fat ass bitch, you need to counsel her into thinness. You need to find out the root of her problem. I know what the root of her problem is root beer. Like, what in the fuck? What in the hell? Are you have to psychoanalyze bitches that you're not attracted to. Now, when I'm not attracted to a guy, I just say no thank you and move on. Now, you as black men, you shouldn't say no thank you and move on. You should try to heal her fat ass vagina, is what she's saying. I can't believe this. Why would they interrupt? That was the perfect question. That was just the perfect, like coup de grace.
Yeah, like you got cut off, so I didn't even get to really hear your full response, man.
And that's why I'm doing this video here, because I got cut off. That's why I'm doing this video.
Well, I saw. See, my issue when I came in listening to you guys is that a lot of her premise was based off a false report, so I kind of just tuned her out after that because, again, I went and read the report after you sent it to me. She misread the report completely, and I understand why she did because she missed the details of the report. It was too.
I did too. Then if that's the case, I just
but you said you only skimmed it though, so
yeah.
I understand why you missed it because I would have missed it if I didn't look at the details while you guys were talking. So I was reading it right. So there were two groups. There was the 18-year-olds and the 20-year-olds. She read it as it was the same group. So her data was way wrong. It was actually an unflattering report. She thought it was a flattering report, but it was not. And you'll see it once you actually go through the details. So for me, again, this is why I say that when you have conversations sometimes with women, you got to be careful with the stats that they use. You got to be careful with their truth. And you got to be.
I'll be calling out them stats. I'll skim this one, but I be calling out them stats.
But they try to use that shit as witchcraft on us when they start talking about that healing shit. That's almost like a pushing like a Control-Alt-Delete. Like when you're on your computer and it gets stuck, and to get it unstuck, you push Control-Alt-Delete. When women start talking that healing shit, to me, that's what it feels like they're doing. Like they're doing a Control-Alt-Delete to restart the program, no matter where it's at. Because like you could be in the middle of a paper, to the middle of a report, and you got to do a whole control and hope that the computer saved it. That's kind of what they do. They use that shit as an emotional weapon against men to get you away from talking about what we know to be facts. That report didn't say anything what she said it said, first off. And this healing talk, when they start talking that they're trying to get to a man mentally to become this sacrificial lamb for an imaginary community. Again, I keep asking people, most of the places I go are gentrified, right? So to me, it's like when you say community, I want to know which community you're talking about. Because in my community, it's mixed.
No, there is a non-gentrified black community. It's called prison. All right, let me.
Damn, you're foul for that one.
let me read Sir Tysus. I am cold. Shout out to the nuclear physicist. I am cold. All right.
Damn, he said prison. You foul for that.
Bro, you killed it on Bernards and Is today. Thanks, bro. It says, I find it ironic how one of their favorite terms is unapologetic. Yeah, that is a very interesting term to say. But they have an issue with when you are. Yeah, well, I'm not apologizing for her being undesirable. Salute GC. What's up, Sigma? All right, salute. Thanks a lot, Secretary. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, salute to you, brother.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if there's anything else. All right. You have anything before I go back to the video? But no, that was a.
I just want you to answer that. You answered it well. I mean, you're right about that. That's part of what they call the black community. In fact, they actually pedestalize that portion of it more. But I'm just saying, I've been living in gentrified America. I've been everywhere. New York, DC. I was out in Seattle and Portland. I'm going to Denver and Albuquerque next month. And I'm telling you, I see the same shit everywhere. So I'm saying when they talk about the black community, they must just be talking about southern areas or something. But then when I talk to brothers like Silent Lamont, who he said he's out in Texas, he says he's seeing gentrified out there. So it's like I almost feel like these guys be creating like an imaginary place in their mind, because you got guys in California that be the big time pro-black. No place to me is less pro-black than LA. San Francisco, LA, Diego have less black people there now than they did just 10 years ago. Damn sure 20 years ago. In another 10 years, there won't be the black population in the major cities of California will be less than 3% in all the major cities in the next 10 years.
Possibly. Freeman's Journal said something interesting. He said Jackson, Mississippi is not gentrified. That's because
that's Mississippi. That's
because it's Mississippi. Who in the hell wants to gentrify Mississippi? Nobody wants Mississippi. Okay, so you're a fan of history, King Sigma. Remember when, because Mississippi was like the first state to threaten to leave the Union, and then, you know, Lincoln and them was like, oh, cool, finally. It wasn't until like the other parts of the South started to threaten to leave till they gave a shit. It wasn't until like, you know, Louisiana said something, and then they gave a shit. Nobody gives a shit. It's Mississippi, god damn it.
Even today it's the same way. Like no one really, because I think Mississippi, aren't they like pretty much the lowest across the economics, the academics, business development? They're still probably.
I don't know about all that, and I don't care.
No, I think they are. They're in the bottom fifth.
I know that they eat dirt, and they call it clay, and they put pine needles in it. I know that y'all eat fucking dirt. So yeah, I don't want to go and meet a bunch of dirt eating niggas. That is what I don't want to do. Fuck that. So yeah, they can have it. They can have it. And as long as niggas is there eating dirt, nobody's gonna want to gentrify it. Because white people like, you know, triple lattes and shit. They don't like triple dirt tays or whatever the fuck y'all got going.
Damn, you foul, man.
It's in Mississippi. Oh shit.
That's probably the only place I could think of. But everywhere I go, man, it's like all I see is like a lot of integration, and we need to be honest about this, man. We all got to compete. It's just like people just don't want to accept the fact that we're in a globalized society, man. Even the banks, right? You look at the banks today. They don't just depend on American customer. You look at Silicon Valley, how they recruit talent where you're at. They're not just saying, oh, we're going to stick with the nativist thing. No, they're going to get talent wherever they can at the cheapest cost. It's the same thing for all human beings. You want the best mate you can get at the lowest expenditure of energy. Those
if
two
H1B did not exist, I would make 5 times as much. You know, yes, I do have to compete on an international scale. Yes.
Yes. And you just said, like you said, you'd be getting paid more if you didn't have to.
Yeah, exactly. But I do. So, like, that's just the way it is. I've been competing with Asians my whole damn life. Fuck it.
They voted for it. If you voted for NAFTA, if you voted for open borders,
NAFTA was I wasn't a voting age at that time.
But they did. The same people complaining about.
Yeah. No, I'm not complaining though. Yeah. I mean, I'm not complaining. I understand it's a fact of life. But yeah, I would have more money. But fuck it, you know.
But the people that did vote for those kind of policies that created this environment, I'm cool with it because I can compete. I actually do better when I have to compete. I don't want a less competitive environment. But I'm saying the people that are complaining about the condition of the sexual marketplace, they're pretty much just complaining to each other. Because I'm telling you, out in the real world, you see it everywhere. People are just like getting in where they fit in. And they realize, hey, if you want the best woman, you're gonna have to be across the fours. You're gonna have the charisma, you know, the looks, the money. You're gonna be able to compete with other men financially. Men accept this for the most part. Most men accept that. But then these women will say, after you've done all those things successfully, you still got to take this woman over here that doesn't want to compete. You people I'm talking about people that think like that are out of their goddamn minds in 2022, bro.
Well, I mean, like, it's not a matter of acceptance. Listen, it's happening whether you accept it or not. And we accept that. Like, you know, you're going to have to compete whether you accept it or not. And that's just the way it is, you know?
Yes.
So let me continue.
Stop what you said, man.
No. Let GameChanger use his senseless logic. Let
me use my senseless logic. Y'all hear that? Y'all hear like subtle digs? This is how simps act. Like they try to like it's senseless logic. No, it makes all the sense in the world. There is nothing senseless about that. You are demanding that men avoid their hold on. You are demanding that men avoid their natural senses. And are you saying that women should have standards? That they shouldn't try to psychoanalyze every guy that wants to fuck but can't? but we should. When a overweight woman is throwing French fries at McDonald's employees, we're supposed to analyze her and then fuck her,
It's crazy.
and then make a baby out of her, and then say community. Like that is what we're supposed to do. But you just go around curving niggas. Pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. Oh no, 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 no. You're about to go to Brazil? No, no, come back, brother, come back. We need you. We need you here for the community. We need you here for the community. Can I get a blowjob? Pineapple. Like that is what you are doing. That is what you are advocating.
Yeah, that is true.
All right, let me play some more. Here, I'll open it up to everybody because I'm about to be done with this part.
So the brother Nate said, I'm from New York and I couldn't believe how integrated the red state South was. I never lived near white folks until I moved out south. Now that's interesting to me because the rhetoric is always like, this is chocolate city and all that. And it's like this, this place where everything is perfect. And then every time I hear someone that go down south, they tell me something different. So I'm looking forward to hitting the south next year. I still got West Coast cities to do this year, but I'm going to hit the south next year to see for myself because I just get too many mixed messages on what's going on in the south.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's certain places I want to go, but and I go to Texas every year.
Which cities do you be going to? Have you been to Dallas and Houston a lot?
Never Houston, but I've been to Dallas, yeah.
Because I hear that Dallas, like the integration is taking off there as well.
I go for family events, so I'm not really on the night scene or anything like that much. But when I was kicking it with Chantel, it was mostly we seen like mostly black people. Yeah. Okay. Security guard at the spot was black, and we walked down and we seen some black people taking pictures. So yeah,
that's gonna be the first Texas city I hit. I'm gonna hit Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio and Austin. Those are those four cities I'm gonna hit for like a month. Because I don't know, man. I'm just a person. I like seeing things for myself. I don't like taking everyone's word for it. I just noticed that when I see something, because somebody be like, oh, I hate it. Then I'll find out I like it. They'll say that they like it. Then I'll say I hate it. So that's why I think that just staying in one place is insane. Nobody that wants to really expand their mind and experience stays in one place. No other group thinks like that, bro. Like you wouldn't have the United States and you wouldn't have a situation. Blacks would have never been slaves if they actually got out. The Chinese got conquered by Europeans because they locked themselves in and they were isolated. That was one of the reasons that they were conquered by Europeans, was because they had that isolated mentality. You got to go out in the world and always know what's going on in your city, your state, your region, other countries. That's supposed to be normal. The people that fight against it, they don't know that they're fighting against their own progress. And it's been proven too many times throughout history. When you isolate yourself, you remain in a state of ignorance. It never works to your advantage. We've seen it happen. That's why China right now, they're not making that same mistake they made before. They're out in the world. They're building cities all around the world. They're putting themselves in the middle of things that in the past they never did because they don't want to make the same mistake that they made in the past. They're like,
wait a minute. So when a Chinese man moves to the hood and open up a shop, a liquor store, you're telling me that in China they're not saying stay and fight for this community? You're telling me that like when a Chinese person escapes a sweatshop that makes Big Bang Theory bobbleheads,
right?
Me, for a better living here, you're telling me that nobody's saying no. You need to stay and fight for the community.
Nobody's saying it, especially those Chinese dudes that they're got in prison that they're shaving off head and sending all this weave here to America. They damn sure are saying that. Isn't that crazy though? The fact that like the biggest producer of weave in 2022 are actually human hair from imprisoned Uyghur Chinese people who wish like hell they can get out of those prisons. They're they wish they could escape.
Somebody from Nepal told me that when Nepalese women, which is close to India and very similar culturally, so I'm assuming it's the same in India, they go and get their hair cut and it's free if they agree to donate it. But if they don't donate it, it's 50 cents. That's what I heard. So basically, when they have 4 foot long hair and then they cut half of it for the split ends and shit like that, they will say this is 50 cents. But if you want to donate it, to bald ass black women, then it's free. So they get like all the ends and the split ends and shit like that. Like I used to think that like India was just full of bald bitches like Wakanda, and the women in America who just walking around with their hair on their head. But I don't know where they get. I'm pretty sure that the demand is so high, especially since they're doing it in Africa, that they are just running out of like nooks and crannies to find hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and they don't really like to get into that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because they, I just find a lot of things when people get on that whole social justice warrior thing and they get on their little high horse, and you just bring up little facts like, well, okay, you're wearing an imprisoned person's hair on your head by force. That person was forced into prison to be a hair factory for you women in the Western world that can't go outside without it. And they have to be a slave and in prison. They don't have answers for these kind of things. So that's why I don't really like having too many conversations with them anymore, because I just noticed that when you get into these conversations, they don't want to talk the facts. They want to get into the emotional thing. It's like I said, it's control or delete on you, man. You having a good conversation about logic, control or delete. That's what they'll do. Let's stop them right in the middle of the paper. And I'm not doing that no more, bro. And I think a lot of black men, like your guy, the nuclear physicist, he was thinking the same thing. You saw the change.
No, it's worse. They're not even thinking about it. Like, I bet he don't even think about race. He's probably mixed himself, but I bet you he's not even thinking about it. He just went with the best choice. And
yes,
going to be in the package of a white/Native American woman.
No, but he said that he thought that the other black woman was attractive.
Yeah, exactly. But what would happen if he tried to fuck Melanie Monaco? Same thing that would happen if I tried to fuck Melanie.
Maybe worse, because she got her own channel. She would have probably put it on blast. Like, you know how the girls like to put.
Nah, she's cool. She's cool. She don't do stuff like that. But I'm just
there's
saying,
a lot of females when they reject you now. See, it's a lot of things that have changed just in the last 5 years.
What young men are doing is smart. They are fucking the finest women that'll fuck them back. And that is what I suggest each and every single one of you do. Fuck the finest woman that will fuck you back. And if the finest woman that will fuck you back is fat and you are not, then don't fuck her. Jack off. All right, let me play the rest of this. Logic, exactly. So basically, under no circumstance would I recommend that men get with unsavory women or women.
People aren't saying that.
Hold on, because we're getting into it. We're getting into it.
Am I the only one that don't get to finish a thought?
No, you're not listening. No, you're wasting words.
Okay, so that aside, just like there is a certain amount of men, Courtney, that you're not interested in, there are a certain amount of women that American men are not interested in. And I don't give a fuck about their psychological makeup, and I don't give a fuck about how slavery affected their current mental state.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about poor genetics. Right. I do not give a fuck if they grew up in the food desert. I do not give a fuck if they're colorblind and they can't get their makeup right.
And Edward,
I got it.
Edward, and I think that's the whole point that I think that we're all making here is that.
God damn, I can't not be interrupted. I don't
take too long, bro. We already know what you're saying. You know what you're saying, game changer. You don't give a fuck. I don't know how many times you have to say it.
Everybody
so the whole idea. So you take too long to speak.
Moreover,
if it was geared to me, I can definitely, because that's not
okay. Yeah, so we need to get this reorganized because I am trying to get these super chats in, get everybody
okay.
Get there.
Yeah, because that's not.
Yeah, so, you missed the point.
So time out. So go ahead, Courtney, and then I'm gonna read these super chats. I'm gonna let Nathan go and BJS go, and then we'll start to kind of wrap this up.
Okay. So again, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what Alan is saying or anyone.
It's never what
Nathan, we're not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that your approach to, if you're done and if you don't like them, then don't like them. No one is forcing you or telling you that you have to. Go to where you were wanted and what you want.
Isn't that exactly what SYSBM is doing?
Yeah.
Go to where you are wanted and they want you.
But here's the thing.
Wait, right quick, Lion. I got you. Well, right quick. Hold on. Watch what she said. Watch what she says.
But for the men that are wanting to stay in the community, and for the women that are wanting to make the community work, understanding what leadership it should be, and it's not, then we're going to do the groundwork and work it here. And
okay, let me respond. Let me respond. Courtney, you just said, right quick, Courtney, you just said nobody is telling you to stay if you want to go, when the nigga just said, stay and fight. Okay, go ahead.
No, well,
okay, well,
how did that work out for Ice Cube?
I was just thinking the same.
Because like that's, I'm sorry to beat you to it, but as soon as when I hear that, I'm thinking, Ice Cube did everything she just said.
What was the response he got?
And instead of support,
what about black women?
Here's the thing, though. See, this is that BS I be talking about. See, he got on that platform, right, where they had a chance to show a unified front to the world. Nope. The first thing they did, as quick as they could, was to knife him and undermine him in front of the whole world to show. Because remember, that was at the same time that like Bernie Sanders was doing interviews with Cardi B and all this stuff. You had a chance to counter that narrative and show that here's unity within the quote unquote community, but you did the exact opposite. The exact opposite.
Not even that. It was I actually read that the Black Contract for Black America. It was a well thought out plan. Like, it wasn't just word lip service. It was a well thought out here. This is what we want. This is what's going to be required. And it didn't even get a freaking chance, because the only response that came from those women were, what about black women? And his response was perfect. He was like, well, this is for Black America. Are y'all not a part of that?
They didn't even answer the question. When he asked
they
didn't answer the question.
They did answer the question, but it was just like, what the hell are y'all talking about? No, but like, no. The thing about leadership is defined by as long as it serves their purpose, or mostly their benefits, which is exactly right when what GameChanger is saying, what that super chat and what Freeman Gerald was saying. I'm like, well, of course you're on board. You stand to benefit the most. But when we keep asking the question, what's in it for men, there's nothing but crickets.
We're just utilities, man. I think that a lot of the women like that, man, they really see black men as utilities, as expendable, and that's what it is. And really their programming doesn't allow them to accept that black men are actually saying, no, you thought you programmed me, but you were wrong. I've broken out of that programming. I can speak for myself. I can do for myself. In fact, I've been doing for myself and for you. The only change that I no longer now feel obligated to do for you. Again, like I said,
and how dare you? How dare you buck the system? How dare you try and think for yourself?
As long as black men are the most taxed individuals in this country that get the least out of it, we're going to keep telling people the truth. We pay almost $2 trillion. It's like $2 trillion in taxes, and black men pay like 107 million just in federal taxes alone, not even including state. Okay, did you hear what I just said? Black men, they're taxed at about 170 billion or something like that, 107 billion, and that's just for state taxes. I mean, for federal, not state. When you add in state, come on, man, we're talking like 200 billion, but we don't get nothing back from it, man. Nope. We're just utilities for everyone else, and not just black.
That's kind of low, considering a GDP of 52 trillion. It's actually kind of low.
Yeah.
Not when you look at the actual numbers side by side in comparison to our percentage.
No, for 6% of population, that's less than 6% of the overall GDP. That's kind of low.
6%, but you got to look at working adults, the percentage of black men that are actually working, and adult. You got to really break the numbers.
No, I am. I'm doing it in my head, and it's coming up short, Sigma. Like by a long shot. I hate to say it, and because I'm a black man, but it's coming up pretty short. Like, we should be at least $1 trillion.
The actual total federal taxes for all working adults is actually about $2 trillion for all working adults. So when you look at it, break it down.
Well, I'm not sure. I thought the national GDP was 52 trillion.
Oh, I didn't say GDP. I said taxes.
Oh, my mistake. My bad.
Yeah, I'm sitting there like, no. I'm not talking about
off day, y'all. You're right.
No, I'm talking about the taxes on the GDP. So the taxes on the GDP for federal is like, for the average, if you look at the average black man's wages, right, it's around 43, 44, whatever, right? You get taxed at about 22%. But remember, we all live in different states. So in my state, we're one of the, I think, top 10 sales state tax. So that's an additional 7%, I think, in my state. So for me, I'm going to pay 29 to 30%. If you're in Cali, you're probably paying 35% taxes. And what I'm saying is that, what are you actually getting as a black man for the percentage of taxes you pay as a group versus what you actually get back?
It seems like I'm grateful for what I did get. I will say that.
I'm looking at personal. I got the tax. I'm looking at it right now. Tax dollars state by state. Personal income tax. California is at 29. New York's at
what? Wait. You said that. Hold on.
California says at personal income tax dollars per 1,000. California says 29.09. They're ranked 13th.
That's crazy. See,
New York is ranked number 1 at 44.
What is their income tax in New York?
Their income tax it says 44.45. They're ranked number 1 on personal income tax.
And then you just look at where all this money going to, and you say, "Man, what am I exactly getting out of this?" So to me, that's the thing that I always go back when it comes to black men. We have to start speaking out on that. Like, they want you to just be a utility to work for everyone else, be quiet, and not get anything out of it. When a black man says, "You know what? I actually can do better with my money. You know what? I want to see a 10% tax rate cut for federal taxes. I want to see like a 50% tax cut for state."
I mean, hell, you're going into debt with it. It's a problem. All you gotta do is keep it real. Just before we even go into debt, you'd be like, let me see your benefits package.
I'm gonna pay my highest amount of taxes that I've ever paid this year, man. I've usually paid around $20,000, but this year I'm probably gonna pay around $40,000 in taxes, man. At the end of the year, $40,000 that taken out of my pocket that's going to all these places, but they still want you to do even more. So they never talk about what we already contribute to the zeitgeist, right? Black men are making this huge contribution every year, 100 to 200 billion in taxes that's given to everybody. But then they say to that black man, after his pockets have been shaken out, okay, we're going to throw an inflation tax on it too because of bad policy. So that's another 10 to 20% this year. And when that's all said, now you got all these women and their drones who have done nothing say, we need y'all to come take care of us even after that. So your $1 has been turned into like 30 cents. And then after all that, you go to get a cheeseburger. And here's this nigga asking, do you got change with this chunky ass bitch? Stop it, man.
Going into Walmart. I'm walking into Walmart with him. Oh, but GC Deadass had me cracking up. He was like, we got to analyze the bitch. Oh, man. Sad but true. And it always seems to be an excuse with that. There's right. I'm like, because there's no sort of counseling or easing or trying to figure out the psychological when a man is broke and unattractive.
Zero understanding, zero empathy.
Yeah.
Again, I want to see the panel of, now this isn't no panel of unknown individuals. All the men on there with GC, these are all known people. Show me the equivalent of a broke dude getting on a panel with large middle-sized content creators and being able to get away with saying, well, that's not constructive to call me broke. That's not constructive to call me, not having my own crib. That's not constructive. We got to heal. They don't talk that healing shit when it's a broke dude.
No, the response is stop bitching.
No, the response is block.
Well, I mean, y'all heard, like, it was okay for her to say the dude isn't adequate. Where was all the community talk? No, stay and fight with that dude. Like, nobody was telling Courtney Michelle to stay and fight with the dude that she wasn't interested in.
Stand in it. I want to hear that.
But we are told to stay and fight with women that we are not interested in.
You also said that too. That last bit you played from the play-by-play. I heard what you said, like, we'll stay with the men who want to be leaders and want to do that. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's because that's your idea of leadership. Them staying.
No. If you believed in male leadership, somebody would have led your ass to a gym a long time ago. And I'm not talking about Courtney Michelle. I'm talking about other black women. Being fat is proof that you never followed a man's lead a day in your fucking life. Like, that's like a receipt. That is a receipt saying I do not obey. I am not submissive. Damn. That is the first thing that I would do. If somebody gave me a sex slave and she was fat, the first thing I would do is put her on not a treadmill. No, I would create in my garage a giant hamster wheel. And
he said a giant.
But you also spoke. But you know what? You just said something, GC. You just said it. You are supposed to work with it, but give a woman a broke, unattractive dude.
No,
start using their language, Lion.
No, Lion. What do you mean a broke, unattractive dude? Give her a dude that makes 75K above average. He makes 70. He makes like 50% above average. You know, give her him and a dude without a six pack, and let's just say he's like 5'9" or some shit like that. You know, give her that dude.
Oh yeah, it don't even got to be extreme.
And then he might as well be broke.
Yep.
He might as well be fucking homeless.
No, we need to use that language. So
give her a mailman. That's it. Give her a mailman, even if he makes more money than her.
Yep. You know, she can't brag to her friends about it, but I think we need to stand in that language. The language that you just brought up when you talk about the standard, reverse it on them going forward. When they start complaining about a man, say, no, stand in it, don't run. Stand with that broke ass dude. Stand with that guy with no ambition. Stand in it. Yeah. In fact, it's actually based on their logic. It's a flaw and an inadequacy within that woman that she can't heal that man. Isn't that what they say? So isn't it her responsibility, if she's going to stand in it, it's her responsibility to heal that man, to motivate him to be great. So if she has that, she doesn't have that ability, we're going to use their language now. Stand in that shit.
Because they have, and you know, because of that, but you know why they won't stand in it?
It don't matter if that's the top 15% of earners.
It don't matter. It don't matter.
Even if they're overweight, their pussy is like the top, 15 of a percent.
They won't do it
in their mind. It don't matter. Stand in it or stay in fight, like dude said. Hey, but I'm about to close down, fellas. So and I'm gonna give Lion like the lion's share of the mic for closing thoughts. Then I'm gonna hop over to Chantel. So I put the link in the chat room. But you got it, Sigma.
Oh no, I like it. Like we just said, that's the best thing that came out of the discussion is that reverse everything, let them stand in it, and become better at reading their own stats than they are. Because again, a lot of the arguments are built on faulty statistics or mistakes in the reading of it, and we need to flip that back on them. So if it's about a black man healing the community, through all his efforts and being sub-dry, we're gonna reverse that now. You got that broke ass dude, stand in that shit. And with that, I'm out. Thanks for having me on, GC. You have a good one, Lion. Peace to the chat. See y'all next time, brothers.
Peace, bro. All right, Lion, take all the time you need, bro.
Yeah, I was just saying to what Sigma was saying. I'm like, but they won't accept it because it's a lot of women's innate nature to have an issue with not being able to choose. That's why they don't want to do it. And I mean, that's why it'll never happen. They're not going to stand in it. Because Kevin Samuels made the same argument we did. We watched them for 2 years.
Right.
Make these same arguments.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to say anything. You saw the body language, you saw the looks on their faces, the faces they made. When you talk, all right, well, what's wrong with the dude making 75, 80K? What's wrong with that? And you saw the looks on their faces.
No, I missed that episode, but I can imagine what it was. Like they basically rated above that. Like it's fine. It's like, listen, that's fine, but don't get mad if somebody take their 75K abroad.
Somewhere else, and that's fine. That's the thing that kills me. I'm like, you know what? No one didn't. It's not even that men have a problem with you having standards. It's just like, what's wrong with us having standards?
Yeah, exactly. But we're supposed to try to heal them. We're supposed to try to, figure out why she's.
It's always trauma.
If she's smacking the shit out of you, you gotta figure out why she's smacking the shit out of you.
Where is this trauma coming from?
Yeah, exactly. If she takes a shit in your bed and blames it on the dog, you have to figure out why.
Why did you do
it's weird.
Or what did I do to make you do that?
Yeah. All right. So the link is in the chat. Thanks a lot, Lion, brother Lion, brother Sigma.
Thanks.
I'd like to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats. Y'all were generous today. I'd like to thank the managers and moderators, those who listen silently, and those who participate in the chat. Heading over to Chantel Simone's. The link is right there. And this is GameChanger 00100. Game over. Peace.